Alright, what's up guys? How's it going? Welcome back to another glorious KSL. It may be a minute before I get treats for Officer Bagel. Just because I have to make sure this tournament gets going first. I don't know why no matter how much I do this, I still get like Very anxious. Start of tournament sometimes. We have a nice looking bracket today, though. Should be quite good. Sure people are checked in. Once again, the Terrans, well, one Terran. One of our Terrans deciding not to wake up for us, perhaps. But we do have our world champion Terran. That's good news. Oh, I did my math wrong. It's only 6:59. I mean, now it's 7, but apparently I was a minute early. Aren't you guys lucky? Yeah, we just got a couple people not checked in. Pretty much everybody's in today, so that bodes well for us. Just hoping we can get Cure checked in, but I think it's unlikely that Cure will show up in the next 2 minutes or so. While I make sure we're all good here. Chances of a hero versus dark final. They always feel pretty good, don't they? Those chances. And I mean, there's still the 1 and 2 seeds in here. So, yeah, pretty solid chance. Although definitely some players that can knock them out, given the right opportunities. We're going to go with it. Call that ready. Gonna have to forfeit. Oh no, dude. Hey, what's up, Kaido? Poor Forion. I'm so sorry, bud. Well, that bodes well for your opponent, who has a name that's a bunch of random letters. But those bunch of letters that your opponent is, poor Forion, I figured it out. Means something if you have a Korean keyboard, and I think what it means is Dongbuk Banggu High School. So, that's good stuff. Thought you were going to be dark again. Well, if you won this first match, you would have been up against Hero. So. Man. I want to try to get into a match and then give treats to the cat. I have been promised. I have promised treats to cat. And even though he looks very sleepy right now, I know he is not. Trying to figure out what to get into. Who's here? I think that Light was in DRG versus Oriana. I don't know if anybody else is casting anything yet. We're waiting on Classic for his match. Shin looking for triple. Ooh, Cyan versus Nice is a good one too. I think. Damn. They just got in game. Like right as I looked at that in the bracket, I didn't even get a chance to message anybody. Shish kebabs. All right. Why? Why, Dave? Why do you do this to me? Okay. I'm gonna give the cat some treats. I don't have a full screen thing ready for this. Sorry, sometimes these are more difficult than they should be. Start of these tournaments. Hi, buddy. No, you gotta come up here. No, you gotta come up here. The people. I have a better solution, perhaps. We give cats treats right here. Cat gets treats in arms. This is our better solution. You gotta calm down with those buds. They're not gonna go anywhere. There's one more treat on there. All right, he's been sufficiently treated. He eats that in like a half a second. I'm gonna have to come up with a better situation for that. I know, bud. Those are good treats, huh? But we gotta cast StarCraft now. That's how this works. Get treats, and then we talk about StarCraft for a while. All right. Good. God. Spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Hecate, we have our red Terran player. It is Oliveira. He is the world champion. His opponent in the upper right-hand corner, the contender. The purple Protoss is Theory. I'll try to give him a couple more treats later on before we close it. Remind me, if you guys are here like at the end, I'll give him some more treats. He wants more now. Every time I give him treats, he's always like, more. I want more. They're not treats if I give them. Silly boy. So I guess Dave Testa decided to cast this match too, even though there's like 4 other matches happening right now. Knows that would be better, but all right. R.I.P. that Reaper. Oh, man. I am not in a good frame of mind to cast StarCraft right now. I don't know who Theory is, like, at all. I looked up Theory on a Ligulac, and there was a Theory who's an American player. I like, for some reason, don't think that's this Theory, but I could be wrong. Maybe that Theory lives in Korea? That Theory hadn't played in a while. But it was the same capital R, so I'm not sure. Not convinced. Thanks, Macrocosm. Appreciate that shout out in the chat for the Patreon. An important part of the KSL. It's a pretty chill opening right now so far. It looks like Oliveira is going to get a little bit aggressive here with the medevac coming out first from the starport. As well as Stim nearly done. It's going to be like a tank 2-1-1 Stim Marine push. Theory, in the meantime, heading towards Colossi, but smartly getting out a Robo, or an Immortal out of that Robo first. I do think Theory is pretty good. Obviously going to have a tough time against the world champion Oliveira. But certainly Oliveira has to respect the level of play and make sure that build order is nice and crispy. The micro is ready to go. Looks like one Blink Stalker went down, though. The Cyclone falls. That is not the important part of this push. Those Stim Marines and those Siege Tanks are. The shield battery over at this base is not going to help these units as the tanks get sieged up. The Stalkers get shelled and the base is getting hit. The Marines went for their big Stim. Theory going to try to jump on this, but needs to be careful. That Immortal taking way too much damage. It cannot get to the Siege Tank. Only gets one shot off. And this push from Oliveira is looking pretty deadly. Oliveira is still macroing back at home, getting a third base down. If he can kill this third, that would be huge. Theory trying to stop that from happening, but these two tanks are just making it so difficult, and I think that base is just going to fall. Theory's going to try one last-ditch effort to stop it from dying. Ooh, try to buy time for the Colossus to come out. The base is surviving. I think Oliveira might need to just pick up the Siege Tank and try to kill the base. But it's gaining shields, over 150 hit points now. Theory's going to keep that third base alive, which is pretty huge. Oliveira put a lot into killing that. Now, obviously, Oliveira also traded quite nicely with the army. 11 Stalkers going down, that Immortal, a couple other units. And that third is very low. That could be a big target later on in this game, or, you know, very shortly in this game, perhaps. As Oliveira is just going to bring the rest of those units across the map. And look at that army supply. It's not looking good for our Protoss, who's out here in the middle of the map trying his best to micro this Colossus and these Blink Stalkers. It's just not enough units. The Colossus barely stays alive. Can he get back to his shield battery? But Oliveira is just going to move around towards that third again. He will take it down this time with a couple of Marauder shots. Gets the tank sieged up. The Colossus goes down. I mean, Theory is going to clean this up, but it just feels like it's a temporary setback for Oliveira getting pushed back here. He still has 30 more army supply. Oh my god, the Widowmine kills a Stalker. The worker count is now pretty much even. Oliveira is about to take his third base. And I just don't see a way for Theory with the army that he's got cooking here to be able to take a good fight against twice the army supply that his opponent has. Oliveira is going to push across the map again. Oh my god, kills the Male Ursa deck. How dare you, Oliveira? You monster. Terrible. Terrible. This isn't like a massive army or anything, but it is kind of a scary army for Theory right now. This Colossus is going to be crucial in the defense. The slow Zealots just not cutting the mustard here. Shield battery very helpful. Oliveira will get pushed away. These random ass Zealots just ran all the way in. 10 probes went down in the meantime, though. Oh no, the Widow Mine drop in the main base and the natural. While all that was happening, the Zealots get cleaned up before they get any SCV kills. And Oliveira, I mean, he defends, he attacks, he harasses. What else can you ask from a Terran? Would you ask as much from any other man? Oh no, the Widow Mines went off again. This cannon's finally up, so all these will get cleared up. But they've already done their damage. 19 probes going down. And Oliveira is now at double the supply of Theory. And that is not a good place to be at for the Protoss. Not what you want to see. And I think this one's going to just kill Theory, as it looks like Oliveira is going to just stim on through with those Marauders. There is the GG. As the world champion takes down another one. Ah, look at how cute he is. Back in his little spot. It looks like Dark got the walkover, so Dark is the first round of 8 member. Hasn't played a game yet, just waiting. Waiting for the inevitable Dark versus Hero finals. But we'll probably have to face off against Nightmare first. And then actually this side of the bracket's pretty cool, but I think we'll probably move to the other side of the bracket because nobody's casting over there, Dave. We're all on the bottom side of the bracket. Except maybe Anki. I'm not sure where he is at right now. Let's hop into game number 2. See if it goes any differently. We're here on hard lead. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner. It is Dragon Kites's Oliveira. His opponent in the lower right, it's Theory. So if you're Theory here, do you pull out a cheese? Is now the time to bust out the stinky queso? I feel like it could be. I feel like cheese could work decently against Oliveira. He's obviously a very strong player, but there are some players who just, it feels like if you cheese them, it's just going to wash off of them. There's no chance it's ever going to do anything. Oliveira doesn't necessarily feel like one of those players. Like, he might decide to do a build order that has some big vulnerabilities in the early game, just for funsies. Which is, like, super dangerous at the high level, but if you're up against the cheese, can be a bit of a problem. Or, like, a weird, wonky attack. Although I will say, it's usually Oliveira doing a weird, wonky attack, and the opponent that is struggling to handle it. Theory just going for a Stargate, though. Nothing too crazy here. I don't think Oliveira is going to do anything too wacky either. Just a Reaper expand. Just a good old standard. I don't really think Oliveira needs to do anything too fancy. The winner of this will most likely face off against DRG, although DRG is playing Orianna, who is a player I haven't seen in a little while, but was really impressing me like 6 months ago. Playing in some of the KSLs and the EPT Cups. I was really impressed with Orianna. Just haven't seen him in a while. I don't know if he's been playing in other things, or I've just been missing him. But glad to have him back. I think DRG is going to be a tough first round for him. But it would be cool to see him take an upset. Looks like Oliveira's going for the same exact build. Turns out that was a pretty good build, and he's going to stick with it. Theory is chilling with... Oh my god, it's a fleet beacon. Theory's going for a fleet beacon. Well, I just don't know if that's going to kick in time.
Oh man, Chickenman.
To deal with Oliveira's push. Whatever it ends up being. Arconic, thank you so much for the resub. 16 months. Yee and a ha. Oh, you know what? Somebody requested a yeehaw. And you've reminded me that I neglected to fulfill that obligation. So here we go for you, Arconic, and for whoever it was that requested this earlier. That's going to be a big ol' yeehaw! Always important to keep your yeehaw strong. Keep the yee muscle hawing. I like to yee my haw, if you know what I mean. We have double carrier. Double carrier is the choice here for Theory. I love this, but unfortunately, it's just not going to be here in time. One carrier will be out for Oliveira. Oh, hold on. Oh, the Cyclone. The Cyclone going to take that bait. And now Oliveira is here in Theory. Going to turn on the Super Shield battery. It's just going to die immediately. Carrier 1 is out, but I'll tell you guys, one carrier does not beat like 17 Stim Marines with a medevac. It just ain't gonna happen. Maybe he can bait him into the Stasis Ward. Ooh, he's gonna try. Oliveira's not gonna fall for the bait, though. He's not gonna dive forward for that carrier. Theory just trying to stay alive. Maybe he can get the other one out. The other one is out. It's coming over, but there's no interceptors left on the first one. The second one only has the starting 4. It's trying. Oh, the Marine count is dwindling. Theory is going to clean this up. Only just, but he will clean this up. Can the tanks kill this Nexus in time? It's just one tank. It's just one tank. Interceptors are so bad. Oh, they get it though. 79 hit points. They kill the tank before the tank kills the natural base. That tank wishing it had gone for probes. There's only like 6 probes here. Theory only has 30 workers. And Oliveira is just going to pick up and boost across the map with Bio to go attack. Now, I will say, a third carrier's out. Theory needs to be so careful, though. Ooh, he's going to spot these medevacs. Medevacs are going to drop Marines out. Widow Mines coming out as well. Can the Mines friendly fire? No, they're going to get targeted down. Get target fire from Theory. But the Marines are still winning the fight. Whoa, there's another carrier. Okay, Theory holding on. He's holding on. He's got a 4th carrier on the way. Who needs anything when you could just build carriers on 34 workers? Why do you need anything else? I'm shocked that he's just moving across the map. He's trying to take advantage of killing some of these Marines, but that is like way too many Marines for these carriers to ever hope to deal with. The thing is, Marines just kind of, they just build quicker. They're just quicker, and they're really good against interceptors. It takes a lot of carriers to be able to kill Marines. I don't know, like, when that fight starts to tip towards Marines. I don't even, or towards carriers. I don't know if it does. I don't know what that engagement looks like these days. Marines just do damage so fast. Carriers, only once you have like a billion of them do these interceptors really work that way. And that's going to be a dead carrier. A recall on the other ones. They will get out of there. But that's a dead carrier for Theory, and that is a problem when you're trying desperately to build your army up with no economy. You can't afford to be losing carriers. Theory's going to take that 3rd base. Oliveira has, of course, been mining at his for a very long time already. And Oliveira's playing this very smartly, getting double upgrades, getting, well, this is armor for the Vikings, I guess, but any upgrades for the Vikings could be good. 2nd starport going down as well. Would not hate to see a Ghost Academy to get a couple of ghosty boys out. I feel like EMP can be very strong. I just don't know if he's going to need it, though. Oliveira's moving out. He's got 1-1. Here he has 4 carriers. There is a 5th one on the way. Oh, actually, a 5th one just popped. Excuse me. 5 carriers against 54 Marines. I don't think they're all quite here, but I think enough of them are here. Oh, boy. Oh, no. Oh, yikes. Marines are pretty good. And there is the GG as Oliveira dispatches the carriers. If you're wondering how to deal with a player going carriers if you play Terran, the answer is just make a lot of Marine and don't let up the pressure. just keep on getting in there. Don't let them build up. Don't let them get anything. Don't give them an inch. Give them an inch, they'll take a mile. All right, so Oliveira is going to play against DRG, which sounds like an incredible match that I really want to cast, but every other caster is going to cast it. I feel like maybe I should wait for Classic versus Shin to come up. Might be a little while, but... You know what? Yeah, I'm going to wait. Everybody's going to cast that, so... I'm going to wait for Classic Shin. I don't know exactly how long they'll be, but... Hopefully they're not already in game with each other. I don't think they are. Pretty sure Classic's still playing against Hyperion. I hate giving up good content. I think Classic versus Shin's good enough to like be okay with giving up good content. But also, I will not get replays from any of the matches that casters don't cast. There's just... I love players. So seldomly do I get them to send me matches. I hate bugging them for them. I gotta get those replays for the Patreon subscribers. Alright, so we're going to be chilling for a little bit while we wait for Classic and Shin to finish up. I can't imagine there will be an upset. Shin is playing against Triple. I assume they're playing? It says Shin is in game. Sometimes Battle.net lies. And Classic is playing against Hyperion. My only concern is if Shin versus Classic already started, but they just didn't put their scores into the bracket, which would be highly unfortunate. Gonna hope that these matches don't take too long. Yeah, Oliveira versus DRG. The banger. Okay, hold on. We have a result. Shin defeated Triple. Classic and Hyperion just got out of game. I think they're going into another game. Trying to get in. I don't think it'll let me. Okay. Already. I tried to say invite please, and I accidentally 2 letters, and it said invite polks. I don't know what polks is, but it's a new word now. Yeah, if you want to catch Oliveira versus DRG, the Ducklings are casting that one. And I'm pretty sure Dave ended up going to Hero's match, Hero versus Nice. So we've split off a little bit now. All right, and we're getting into Classics match. I think this is game 2. Could be game 3. I'm not sure, actually. I meant to ask for the score, but I forgot. So I'm going to try to look on Anki's stream as we get into game here. Give me just a moment. While I try to click the correct buttons. Okay, and I can't find Inky's stream. There we go. This is game 3. All right, we figured it out. We did it. Good job. Good job, us. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have Dragon Kitesy Gaming's Hyperion, who apparently took a game in this match. A very impressive result against one of the best Protosses in the world. Twisted Minds Classic. Can you play every game of the mod that makes it snow for Christmas? That actually sounds pretty incredible. Can we also make sure to get little Santa hats on all the workers? Like the birthday hats that we had back in the day? Weren't there birthday hats? Was that like an anniversary thing? I feel like there was birthday hats at some point. Or like they had little party hats. We should do that but with Santa hats and have it snowing everywhere and little elf doodads. Can we get... Okay, we need a map maker to make a Christmas map. That's what we really need. With little elf doodads and little Santa hats on the probes. And we need like a Grinch. A Grinch somewhere. This probe is the Grinch, I think. Yeah, it was the anniversary. That was awesome. Oh, and they died with confetti. And it was like The little, oh, that was so cool. It made the, like, party noisemaker noise or whatever. I don't know what those are called. When they died. That was the best. Can we bring that back? And Bagels, my birthday was fantastic. Thank you for asking. It was so good that I think the last couple of days I've been in like a post that day was really good kind of energy, which is like, man, I feel kind of down for no reason. I think I just had like such a good day that I was like, man, I wish every day could be like that afterwards. It was really fun. It was really great. I got to spend a lot of time with friends, and we went to a can. I'll be honest, it didn't start out great. I woke up with a brutal hangover from partying a little too hard on Tuesday night, but I went to a can, which was lovely. I've been meaning to post a picture of it, actually. I have a couple of pictures. One of them has, honestly, maybe one of the best emote faces I've ever made in my life. So I feel like that one needs to be that one just needs to be like a reaction image. But yeah, it was super fun. They pulled me on stage because it was my birthday. Yeah, it was awesome. Then we got some dumplings. It was just a good time. There's a Christmas hats mod already. That doesn't really surprise me. Like, as I was saying it, I was like, this has to exist. Like, somebody must have done this. There's a whole Carbot mod where every unit is turned into a Carbot skin. But, like, how could there not be Christmas hats on workers? We need a whole Christmas map with the Christmas hats mod. Jesus, 10 drones have died, 12 in total this game. Just to talk about this game a little bit while we're casting StarCraft, instead of other things. What was this canceled? Was that a fleet beacon? It was like expensive, wasn't it? I don't think there's like a canceled buildings. No, I don't know. Stargate, maybe. Anyways, Robo Twilight Council follow-up. Whatever that was canceled. 2 more drones dying as Hyperion attacks his own morphing lair. Very, very painful opening for Hyperion. This is exactly what Classic's looking for. This micro-based harassment opener that the Protoss love to do. You just got to keep the man down. Keep the Zerg down. Bagels, that I do recognize that, but I can't quite place it. The last line in particular, I can like hear it in my head. It sounds like something from 1968, but I just can't quite get there. All right, Hyperion's going to try to go for a Spire. Solid move. Ashes to Ashes by David Bowie. That does make sense. What with the first words being Ashes to Ashes. It's one of those that I feel like I've probably like heard a handful of times, but I don't know by heart. There are a few Bowie songs I know by heart. And Classic knows this build order by heart. It's a quality build order. Gonna try to attack in here. Hyperion really nicely defended, honestly. Gonna just transfuse these queens until the cows come home. Unfortunately, the cows are these 2 Archons, and they are home, and that is gonna be enough to start busting through those queens. Some roaches popping out, but Zelly's getting in over here as well. Already huge drone numbers falling here as Classic warps in another big round of the Chargy boys. The Spire is finished, but no
Chickenman.
mutas can be made. Hyperion is desperately trying not to die and is building 16 roaches. And I just don't think it's going to be enough to not die here. As Hyperion taps out. Classic takes the 2-1 victory. I do not know what the game was that Hyperion won, but that's fantastic. Good for Hyperion taking a game off a Classic. But we will have Classic versus Shin. Ragnarok. Ragnarok and roll. Thank you. Thank you for the resub. And I will see you at Atlanta. Despite the many times you told me you would not come. You're like, no, can't do it. And I was like, yeah, I respect that, but come. You're like, I'm not going. I was like, oh yeah, cool. So I'll see you there, right? Your PTO has been scammed? Oh no, dude. The last minute HR not responding PTO scam. We don't like it. Can I make them play on Christmas hats mod? Maybe for the finals, you know, maybe for the finals we can get them to play on the Christmas hat mod. We should do that for the Christmas one. Hold on. What day is Christmas on? Okay, it's on a Monday, but there will be... Will there be an EPT Cup on Christmas? Are they going to run the EPT, the ESL Open Cup on Christmas? I guess they will, huh? We should make them play on the like Christmas hat mod on Christmas. I'm also looking forward to the tournament and the many other exciting things that have been announced for that day. Very excited. Your PTO vanished. Oh, that's super cool. I was supposed to get 40 hours of PTO when I hit my 1-year anniversary at work, and they just like didn't put it in there. And I was like, hey, give me my fucking vacation. And they did. But I did have to yell at them, so I kind of feel you. Christmas Hats mod is not compatible with Observer++. Oh, no, true. Can we commission somebody to make an Observer++ Christmas edition where it snows and there's Christmas hats? And when they explode... we just need a Christmas map. Now I kind of want to put together a Christmas tournament. Do it on Christmas Eve. Just ask Joey to update it. Joey, we need you in StarCraft again. Joey, don't leave us. We need you. Joey, please. Help us put the Christmas back into StarCraft, Joey. We can't do it without you. Did he make the Christmas mod too? That's incredible. He must have done that for like a Home Story Cup. Ah, that's so good. That's so good. We just need a map with like a bunch of candy cane doodads and like presents scattered around. Oh man. What if you had like, remember how we had the fruits in Fruitland? What if you had that, but instead they're presents, and the presents is minerals or gas on the map? This is like genius. And then it needs like special You need like special Christmas music. I'm 100% in on this. We need to make this. I wish I had thought of this like 3 months ago, because we could have gotten a head start on it. It's already December. Can we get a Christmas map together in time? How long would it take to load up Fruitland and replace the doodads yourself? About 300 hours, because I have no idea what I'm doing in the map editor. Not even the slightest of clues. So probably about 1 billion years. If I knew what I was doing in the map editor, I could probably do it. Like, I can whip up a 3D model of a box, of a gift, and like put some I don't know, some other doodads in there that were Christmas themed. But since I have no idea what I'm doing in that editor, it would probably take me like 80 hours of figuring the editor out and then 20 hours of actually doing it. It'd probably be easier for me to pay Joey to do it. That might be the best strat. Let's see if he's busy, wants to contribute. But first, we're gonna cast some StarCraft, some non-Christmas themed StarCraft. We'll just have to keep Jingle Bells in our minds and hearts. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Hard Lead, we have Shin, formerly known as Ragnarok, finally changing his in-game name to match his out-of-game name. Thank God. His opponent in the upper left-hand corner is none other than Classic. Oh my God, that's so true. Ragnarok is no more. And now Ragnarok Het is the only Ragnarok related name in StarCraft. Ragnarok Het has won by being the first and the last Ragnarok themed StarCraft 2 name. The Ragnarok gamers rejoice. As the pro player Ragnarok has now become the lower part of your leg, specifically the part that hits coffee tables and nightstands very frequently. It's like really painful when that happens. I pretty much always have a bruise or like a cut on my shin, and I routinely never have any clue where it comes from. I feel like we all have a spot where we just have random bruises. For me, it's my shins. I like always have some bruise or a cut on my shin, and I'm like, what happened? What was going on? It's just so mysterious. Also, before he changed his name to Shin, Ragnarok would have Hibiam as his in-game name for like, I mean, honestly, maybe over a year at this point. And finally, he changed it to match up with his the name he's been using competitively. If you're wondering why his name is Shin, first of all, it's the perfect Korean StarCraft player, Korean pro player name. But it is actually his name. It is his family name, if I'm not mistaken. But what's very funny about it is, like, StarCraft Korean pro gamers are named after one of two things, generally speaking, and by generally speaking, I mean 99% of the time. They're either a random word from the dictionary in English or some form of their name. That's it. Those are your options. You're a Korean pro gamer playing StarCraft 2. You have two options. That's it. That's them's. And now, with Shin, he's managed to do both. I mean, what a god. It's not only his name, but it's also just a random word in English. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's truly beautiful. I think it's less beautiful that Classic didn't put a unit in the door, but also those Adepts did nothing. I know I haven't really been talking about this game and focused on Shin's name. But those Adepts got basically no damage done. Not a good trade there for Classic. Shin got to be very happy with that defense. And because it was Void Ray first, there's no Oracle damage happening either. Only one drone has died. And, you know, we just watched Classic up against Hyperion before this, and Classic got, I mean, by the end of the game, it's like 15, 18 drones, right? All that early game harassment is what made Classic's push feel so strong. A push like that here for Classic just won't feel the same. And oh my god, the Oracle even dying before the recall. That's bad on every single possible level here for Classic. Classic's going to go for an Archon drop. I'm not seeing Charge start up to go for the big push here, but yeah, there it is. So I'm imagining we're going to see a few more gates go down here, and Classic's going to go for the same kind of push we just saw in that last game against Hyperion. Archon's hitting, a bunch of charge lots getting warped in. There's a couple more gates. But again, because there wasn't that significant drone damage from earlier, Shin's in a much better spot than Hyperion was last game. This is a totally fine spot to defend from, as long as Shin starts building roaches pretty much right away. And yeah, there he goes, starting up those roaches. I don't know if he's seen really what's happening here. I don't think he's seen the Warp Prism. It's been pretty hidden. He is keeping an eye on things, and these Lynx are actually going to get some counter damage done. But Shin needs to be focused back at home. The Archons are going to hit very soon. And yeah, I mean, 8 roaches on the way. That is such a great start before Classic even gets over here with the Archons, with any charge lot warpins. I think Shin's going to be able to defend this quite nicely. The longer Classic waits, too, the better this is for Shin. Shin getting some units kind of in position, doesn't realize exactly where this is coming from. Not a lot of creep spread over here. The Queens will spot this. There's already Queens in position. Roach is in position. Charge is not done yet. Classic getting a little too early. Oh my god, he's going to get like no damage done. He kills a Queen. The Queen's, though, going to push this Prism away. It will get out of there. And those are just not the trades that Classic is looking for. He just sacrificed a whole bunch of Zealots for like a handful of Lings and a Queen. It's just not what you're looking for here. The Archon's trying to get some drone kills, trying to make this somewhat worth it. And we do see Classic is on a solid worker count back at home, so getting a few drone kills will make a bit of a difference. Obviously behind this, he's got that blink and +1 coming up as well, so Classic isn't just completely dead. This was not an all-in. It wasn't very committed even. The problem is, Shin has lost 4 drones this entire game, and has just been able to build units with impunity. And he's got a few Hydras here, so even the Void Ray can't hold this off. Shin is just up 60, almost 70 army supply right now. The Void Ray goes down. These rocks are getting busted. Shin recognized exactly what kind of game this was for Classic, and it's so important for the Protoss to get that early drone damage and keep the economy of the Zerg stifled. He was not able to do that, and this is exactly the response you expect to see from the Zerg. Build lots of unit, attack. And I think it's going to be overwhelming here for Shin, as he, well, he knocks the legs right out from under Classic. You're right, Fear Dragon. That is going to be fun. I had not considered that. You're on point with that. Kicked his economy in the shins. Ah, that's a good one. I'm going to try not to use that, at least for a while. I'll let you be the first one to use that on broadcast. But I am going to make some leg puns here. I'm trying to be a little more subtle with it, you know? a little bit more subtle. My audience is pretty quick to pick up on these kinds of jokes. I don't need to say kicks his shins out. I can just say, you know, kicks his legs out from under him. They'll make the connection that shins are a part of your leg. I don't know if you guys knew that. Maybe some people need an anatomy lesson. Your shin, it's like right here. It was really hard. Pants are tight. Did that for you. It's the sacrifices I make for my audience. I hope you guys appreciate them. Let's get into game 2 here. Spawning in the upper right-hand corner of Alcyone, we have the aforementioned frontal lower leg. It is Shin, the blue Zerg. His opponent, the lower left, Twisted Minds, Protoss in the red, Classic. You know, making too many puns during a broadcast, as Sean Connery would say, it's shameful. Happy with that one. I get to do a Sean Connery reference and make a pun. That's a double win for me. It's a win-win, but only for me. Kind of a lose for everybody else. I'm not really counting you guys, so we go with a win-win. I have to come up with a few more of those. Oh, shingular. There you go. There you go. You could really go for an old school shingular reference, too, where you talk about the phone company. Singular. But again, you have to be doing it with a Sean Connery accent. So you have to relate it to Sean Connery somehow. That's the hard part. You know, that's what makes punning truly an art. It really is an art form. You know, I see people try and fail at it. And, you know, my puns, I don't make too many of them. But I try to make sure the ones I make really hit the nail on the head. Another Stargate opening from Classic. We'll see if he can get some more harassment done in this game. Again, it was pretty straightforward that last game. Classic just didn't get any harassment done early on. It makes his build significantly weaker. Shin just holds it off and makes units and attacks. And it really shows you how fragile the Protoss build is. And it looks so strong when it works. This has been pretty common at the high level, sending adepts and oracles across to get harassment done, and it can really snowball. Max Packs makes it look insanely good. I think it was like a couple weeks ago he played against Dark, and it just felt like Dark couldn't do anything. But of course, if you lose 12 drones at the start of the game, it's gonna feel like you can't do anything. And that's just the position that the Protoss can put you in. But on the other side of things, it's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of faith in those units and in their ability to keep the Zerg building drones instead of units, keep whatever units they have back at home defending, hurt their economy so they can't do any follow-up attacks too quickly. And that's what allows you to expand so quick and only expand with like an adept in the wall and maybe a Void Ray over top. The Classic's going to evacuate this area. A little worried about the Lings coming across. It should be fine to take that base. There's not much more coming out of Shin. And again, you know, the Adepts have kind of poked across, but they didn't really get anything done. Only that one Overlord going down to the Void Ray. We'll see if Classic can get some more damage done here. Ooh, but he's got a different plan this time. He's going into a Fleet Beacon and a second Stargate. So this should be the Tempest build from him, which has been pretty popular. I love to see Tempest making their way back into the meta here, making their way downtown, walking a little faster than they used to. Face is passed, and they're bound for the Zerg base. Shin just going for the Roach Horn in the lair. Doesn't quite know what he's up against yet. It's really hard to get a read on this. It's the nice thing about the Void Ray opener is you can kill all of that scouting potential for Shin to get into the main base. Now, I have seen some Zerg players able to sneak by some Lings at key moments past the wall into the base, but so far Classic's been pretty buttoned up with this Adept. And this time Classic is able to get some worker damage done. So far he hasn't lost anything, just killing a few drones, a couple overlords. He's just being annoying here, right? These kinds of things. It's just annoying for Shin. He's not going to be able to get in good scouting. It's going to be a while before he fully sees what he's up against, but what he is going to see is very important. He's going to see no ground units here. None at all. And I feel like that is almost as much of a tell as anything else. And I was talking about Tempest, man. I was fully ready for Tempest until literally just now. Classic going straight to Carrier. That is a little surprising to me. I haven't seen Carrier quite as much. Tempests have definitely been the more popular choice in this matchup with a quick fleet beacon like this. Particularly on this map, I've seen Tempest a few times recently. But Classic going to go for double Carrier. But this is kind of crazy. He's going just for 2 carriers. He is fully trying to bait Shin into going for like 12, 15 Corruptors. He just wants to bait him in. And then he's going to nail him with a ground army. He's got +1 blink on the way, a bunch of gates. His Templar Archives finishing up. I imagine this will be Storm. He could also just go straight for Archons and try to get a big, beefy ground army up. The Carrier's flying over that base, going to go for some drone damage. The Spire is about to finish for Shin. I think the most Corruptors you want to make here is about 8. He's starting off with 6. I actually don't mind 6. Especially since these Carriers are already taking a bunch of damage for just kind of existing. This one's getting quite low, actually.
Oh, man.
There he goes up to
Man.
8. Ooh,
Wow.
He starts up +1 attack, though. Shin needs to recognize that he is up against a big ground follow-up. Classic going to recall these guys out of there. JW hitting the channel with the nuke. Nuclear launch detected, JW. Thank you for the 9 months. Oh my God. You nuked us with the Twitch baby. What's our sub baby gonna be called? I think it's nuclear launch detected. I think that's the sub baby's name. It looks like Shin wants to attack, but like Classic's gonna have, he's gonna have a lot of stuff here. I don't know, his ground army isn't as beefy as I'd expected it to be. Shin might be able to get some damage done. Storms are gonna start laying down. Okay, Shin's gonna back up. He doesn't really want to fight this. The Carriers do fall. That is both the Carriers falling. So the Corruptors have now done their job. They don't really have anything else to do. I mean, there's a Void Ray, but they don't really have to worry about that at all. +1 Carapace on the way, Flyer Carapace for these Corruptors. I don't know if Shin wants to keep building those, and I don't know if he's realized that there's just absolutely no other air units coming out right now. Obviously, that possibility is going to be there for Classic. He's still has the Fleet Beacon and 2 Stargates. Oh, that's nice. Good defense from Classic. Shin going to try to jump in over here. Has some Roaches and Ravagers. Corruptors might want to come help out against this Void Ray. They will come take her out. There are some decent storms here so far out of Classic. Shin still trying to bust forward. See if he can't get some biles down on these High Templar. The High Templar don't have enough juice for a storm. There they go. There's one. Takes down the overcharged shield battery. Shin gonna back up. Still just building Roaches and Lings, though. The blink forward from Classic. Shin forced to turn and fight. The reinforcements show up. Is there enough here for Shin? Doesn't look quite like it, as some of these Ravagers getting jumped on. Good body blocking there by the Lings, but Classic going to keep on chasing. Going to blink forward once again. Let's be careful. These Stalkers are pretty fragile. The Storms are pretty far behind. But it looks like Shin's going to get pushed all the way back. And Classic is actually ahead on Workers right now. The Corruptor's getting killed as it looks like they tried to maybe get through this Nexus. And so far, Shin has not been able to get anything done with these Corruptors. Masterfully handled here by Classic. The double carrier opener, it just worked perfectly, right? It completely bamboozled Shin. He was so ready to go into an air battle, and Classic has just neglected these Stargates ever since. Hasn't built a single other air unit. And Shin, I mean, he put a bunch of money into this. Obviously, getting all those Corruptors out. 8 of them have died. There's still a couple, 4 left alive. That's 12 Corruptors and the +1 Carapace. That's a lot of investment where, 12 Hydras would have worked. And now Shin's kind of stuck on a crappy composition. Doesn't even have Bane speed yet. Up against, an 11-minute going on 5 base Protoss, who's got a pretty solid looking army. Oh my god, Classic double expanding down here. That's a pretty bold move. It'll be really nice if it pays off. He's going to try to put some pressure on to keep Shin's economy down a little bit. There's the Storm on the Morphing Banelings. Oh, but a couple of Banes get in, and the High Templars all go down. Classic overextending. Maybe wasn't expecting quite so many Lings and Banes here. The Stalkers are still going to try to fight this out, blinking backwards, but the Banelings coming forward to smash in. The Stalkers splitting as much as they can. Does give good surface area for the Roaches, though. The Prism goes down. Classic's going to have to back up. And that was finally a good fight for Shin, evening up that resources lost by quite a bit. I think Shin's got to be much happier with his position now, as he again pushes this army off creep, keeping some of this creep alive as well. Shin gonna get on top of that base, force a cancel. That is just the 6th of Classic, so he doesn't really mind canceling that one, I think. As he still has this one finishing up down here. Shin's gonna try to be annoying to it. But let's see if Classic can get down there and defend it. Actually, Shin bringing everything down here. He really wants to get the kill. The Stalker's gonna try to kill the Corruptors, but the Corruptors are just the distraction. The real damage is the rest of this army. Banelings and Lings keeping these units back, as the Biles will finish off that Nexus. And Classic went from double expanding to staying on 4 bases, barely able to mine from that base at all. And honestly, this game looked pretty rough for Shin, but it's feeling a lot better now. And it is funny, Classic going back into those carriers, just getting a couple more out, knowing that he killed a lot of the Corruptors. But, I mean, Shin can just make 4 or 5 more Corruptors, and 2 carriers does not do that much damage. They're really not that scary. Honestly, Shin might just want to attack without worrying about them. He needs to be careful, though. The Storm's going to lay down on top of these Banelings on the ramp. Biles trying to connect with those carriers. Shin's just going to go back in. Can he crack up this ramp? The armor supply is pretty high for Classic, so I don't think Shin's going to be able to bust up there like that. You have to kind of have overwhelming numbers to pull off that kind of a maneuver. Biles again going down, kind of hitting a lot of Shin's own units there. The last of the Corruptors fall. So these carriers are still a bit of a threat, but 9 more Corruptors on the way. Shin, I'm really surprised he hasn't expanded to the top side at all. He is working on much less of an economy than I feel like he really should be. There's been no action on the top of the map. I see no reason why he couldn't just take this base and, at least have some drones transferring to it. He's got to be getting low on some of this mining here. Gonna need to transfer fairly soon. But he's trying to get into a greater spire. He's got that hive finished up. Classic is on +3 attack, and he is getting +1 ship weapons and +1 shield, so he's trying to keep those upgrades cooking. Shin's upgrades, not in that good of a spot. He's on +1 melee, +1 missile attacks, and +1 flyer carapace. Not exactly looking great across the board. And again, I just do not know why Shin is not taking bases. He's finally going to put down a hatchery up here. I really wouldn't hate to see a double expand like Classic tried to do earlier. And, I mean, he kind of did again, right? I think Shin forced to cancel on this base again. And it looks like the Lynx might be able to come in here and do the same thing a third time. Now that's going to be enough Lynx to force that cancel. Wait, hold on. Hold the phone. Turns out Protoss is pretty good, but here we go. Baneling's coming back in, smashing on top of a lot of these units. The Bile's connecting a little bit. The Corruptor's going to dominate this Air Force. Carriers trying to kill as many roaches and ravs as they can before that happens. It does look like with the fresh warping of Stalkers here, Classic's going to be able to hold on. He loses 3 of his 4 carriers. Shin losing a lot on the retreat here. This is quite painful. The base does stay alive, though, for Classic. Shin just trying to remax and get back out here. But again, his economy hasn't been quite as good as you would expect it to be. And now Classic, with that superior economy that he's had for at least part of this game. He's been on 90 drone or probes for a while, but doesn't really show here. He is going to lay down a bunch of static defense, though. It's going to force Shin to make more Banes. Oh my god, there's Ultras coming out. Didn't even realize there was an Ultra Cavern up here for Shin. But he's got Adrenal finishing up. Ultra's on the way. Chitinous is on the way. Shin's going to have a very powerful ground army. And while more carriers are coming out, it's just, yeah, I mean, 4 carriers against 11 Corruptors. Problem is, 4 carriers still isn't, like, that super scary, and Ultras really just don't die to carriers all that easily. Classic gonna try to take a base up to the north side. It's funny, Classic's had like 1 more base than Shin this entire game. Oh, he's got a recall down here, though, as Shin is attacking recalls, but it's just the High Templar. These storms gonna land on Ultras. That is not what you're looking for the storms. The bad weather does not affect them all that much. Some storms on the high ground as well, trying to save these carriers, but the Corruptors, again, do not care about the bad weather at all. They have umbrellas, and that's gonna keep them dry for a little bit longer. And Shin buzzed through, though. I mean, this is very expensive. It looks like this this low ground here is going to hold. Classic going to hold on the high ground. He does lose some probes, but he's been up workers this whole time, and he still maintains that advantage. So while Shin looked like he was going to blast through, it just didn't work out that well. And now Classic has traded much better in this game. This is a nice victory for Shin, though, forcing a cancel on that base, stopping Classic from getting further ahead economically as Shin finally has this base up. But I mean, still just, this is not the kind of mining you want to see for the Zerg, especially when you've traded 5,000 resources worse. Classic is going to Maynard some probes down here and be mining beautifully. And Shin really needs more bases. I mean, he is mining out of all of these mineral patches. He needs to just take this one. Got to take it. It's yours. Classic hasn't done like any Zealot run-bys, is what I was about to say as I saw this on the minimap. So 7 Zealots finally making their way around the north side. Shin's going to have to be prepared for those. Oh my god, Classic! What a ballsy guy. I don't think Shin is going to realize that's there. I mean, he will eventually go down here, I assume. But that's a bold move. It's a bold move for a bold man. The Greater Spire did finish earlier, but we haven't seen any Broodlords just yet. And now Classic is up to 8 carriers. And this whole time I've been like, well, that's not that many carriers. That's not that scary. This is, man. 8 carriers is kind of terrifying. Shin's going to spot this base, but Classic is here to defend it. Shin's going to go in anyways. Those Zealots about to hit on the top side, but this is the real story, the real engagement here as the Corruptors desperately try to win this fight. They do have 1-1, and that's going to help them shoot through some of these carriers. It looks like Shin's going to win the low ground as well, and going to keep pushing these ultras to try to get some damage done. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, 9 drones going down, Lings coming out and dying immediately. The ultras, I mean, I feel like eventually they're just going to die. The corruptors are all dead. The carriers are coming back. And while this base for Classic might go down, and he did lose this one, if he can clean up this army, it's still not going to feel super worth it for Shin, who lost a lot of stuff on his side of the map and is still down in workers to the Protoss. And at the end of the day, I feel like this income is going to be somewhat similar. If Shin can reestablish the drones at this base, and he is sending some more back there, he's going to have better mining, because Classic is starting to mine out pretty much everywhere here. Everywhere he has left. Yeah, there's not much. So he's going to long distance mine from this base. That is going to give Shin a bit of an advantage. Classic again going to try to take this one because he can't seem to hold on to the top side. He's just going to not worry about it. Shin rebuilding the Corruptor army. I mean, he does kind of need them because there's 7 carriers and 6 Corruptors. And, you know, my carrier versus Corruptor math isn't great. But I do know that more carriers beats less Corruptors. I'm very confident in that fact. You're going to want more Corruptors than your opponent has carriers. And right now, Shin does not have that. He is going to kill this base, not even cancel, just force a kill on that base. So Classic, again, losing a lot of mining here. It's going to keep Shin on top for a little while. Although I see more Zealots hitting up there as these Ultras and Lings run in and die. Oh, these Zealots being so annoying. Lings desperately trying to come save this base, but that might be another cancel up here. There it goes. Shin going to be able to retake that, but that's very painful. Pulls the pressure off of Classic a little bit too, who's trying to get some static defense up at this base. This game is so scrappy, and it feels so like unnecessarily scrappy. But Shin just decided not to expand earlier, and he's just been non-stop trying to take trades. Even though they haven't been the best trades, they've been a lot better than I feel like I was expecting. And I think a big part of that is Classic has been really focusing on just getting his army numbers up. So a lot of his army is still Stalkers and Zealots and Immortals and things that just kind of die to Ling Ultra. A lot of High Templar have gone down as well. 18 of them. The carrier count is still up at 7th. There's only 4 here. Okay, there's the other 3 coming over. Ling counterattack, looking for something, but not really finding it just yet. Oh, but Shin's going to dive in here. He's bringing the Queens this time. Can the Corruptors win this fight? They do take down a couple of these carriers, but the Corruptors, they just can't do it. And Shin throwing his head against the wall, and eventually Classic as the wall, doing his best Showtime cosplay, comes out with the W. Victorious. GG. Shin making that game really scrappy and really just trying to pummel into Classic, but Classic doing an expert job at dealing with it. The Corruptors that were first made to deal with those 2 carriers, it was a few too many Corruptors, a few too much investment for Shin. And then, I mean, the real problem is he wasn't able to get anything done with it afterwards. Usually if you have like 6 Corruptors, you can get a kill on a couple of pylons, or if your opponent's not paying attention, a Nexus. Classic was so on it with the defense, and Shin just had these units out there doing absolutely nothing until they all died, and then 2 more carriers started up immediately. It is interesting that there wasn't a lot of focus on the top side of that base, like the top corner. I think the players, again, because Shin made it so scrappy and he was so gung-ho about attacking in on the bottom side, neither player really had a chance to think about it. Got to remember that as good as these guys are, they still have a limit on how much attention they can pay to things, how many actions they can do, how many things they can focus on. And sometimes, like, taking a base up there, it's just, like, out of the realm of what you can do. Classic did try to take the 9 o'clock at one point, and it immediately got canceled by a Ling run by. As soon as Shin tried to take the top bases, a Zealot run by went up there. So it was like, they only had a couple of chances to think about it each, and they just thought about it at the same time. And I think in that situation, it ended up a lot better for a Protoss, as the Zerg really needed to get that job done right away with those first handfuls of units. He was never working with a very good army. But now spawning in the upper left-hand corner of game number 3. You're here on Site Delta. It is Shin playing for Mystery Gaming. His opponent playing for the Twisted Minds is Classic. Yeah, it was a hell of a game. It was such an unorthodox late game. I think the way Classic like teched up made it super weird also. He tried to force Shin into a bad position. I think very successfully tried to force Shin into a bad position by going for those first 2 carriers and then completely hard swapping to ground. And then Shin's response was like, well, I'll just overwhelm you on the ground. But that's not... It's not as easy. It's easier said than done when you're against a Protoss like Classic, who, you know, he got that storm out. He got a lot of ground units, a lot of static defense, and he was just taking decent trades and pretty consistently had a better economy. That was the really hard thing there for Shin, was Classic's economy was just stronger for a lot of that game. He had more bases, more workers. It was a little bit back and forth, but I'm surprised Shin didn't try to expand more. I think he was just so singularly focused, you might say, on attacking his opponent that he really didn't. I think Shin wasn't playing with his brain on that one. You know what I mean? He was just trying to smash Classic. The brain activity was minimal. But, like, the blood was pumping. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Playing with his heart. And maybe something else that the blood pumps to. God, you're so right, Fear Dragon. I'm so sorry they don't have Christmas hats. I'm going to do my best to, like, get a Christmas map going. I love the idea of a Christmas tournament. Even if it's just, like a show match, best of 5 on the same map. Or maybe we can get a couple maps. If I figured out how to do the doodads, maybe I can get a couple different maps and just put the doodads on there. Yankee Doodad Dandy. I just love the idea of using Fruitland but replacing the fruit with
game paused.
Little presents instead. But the map itself, Fruitland, I don't know if you've looked at it recently. It's terrible. It's a terrible map. Like, it's, even by Wing standards, it's pretty bad. You know, those old Wings maps, really just not great. There are some good winter maps though. That's true. If you did all winter maps with the hats on, and then maybe the finals, or maybe just like the first map, just so that you guarantee get it, is on Fruitland. But winterized. Yeah, there's some good ones. There's some good ones. Sorry, we have a pause here, so we're just going to chill in dead silence in the meantime. Also, I definitely, if I do that tournament, I'm going to turn in-game sounds off, and I'm going to have out-of-game sounds be like Christmas jingles, you know? Just like light background Christmas music, maybe with like a fire going. Oh, dude, this is such a good idea. This is such a good tournament idea, and I feel like I don't have any time to get it together. But I feel like we can do this. I need that Christmas hat mod. Neat Pete busting out the keyboard, being like, hold on, I got this. I got this. Good. That's good. That's beautiful. Beautifully done. Fear Dragon, I was thinking the exact same thing. Straight up thinking the exact same thing. Banjo-Kazooie Christmas level music. I mean, what a banger that is. I'm going to look it up while we're chilling here waiting for Classic and Shin. Freeze Easy Peak. You guys are not going to be able to hear that. Oh, no. All right, hold on. Temporarily do this. What a banger, dude. I could listen to this for 45 minutes, at least. Maybe like 3 hours.
Game paused.
I got to put the music back on.
Game resumed.
Just slowly fade that out. That's going to be great when I cut this VOD and that song, the entirety of that part of the VOD is just, there's just no music. Because I don't think desktop sounds will go to the VOD. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm so sorry. That was just like minutes of silence while we were jamming. We were listening to the Banjo-Kazooie winter level theme music. In case you needed to look it up to see what was going on. Absolute banger. Banjo-Kazooie, one of the best games of all time. Like, I put it right up there. It might be my favorite N64 game. It's just so good. Every level design is beautiful. The music is amazing. The character design, it's like the characters are all original in such a good way. Oh, such a good game. Put the music link on the description. That's a good call if I think of it. I will do my best to do that. Man, that makes me want to play Banjo-Kazooie now. I can. I have my N64. It's sitting right there in front of me. But I gotta organize this Christmas tournament. Oh my god, I don't have time. It's never enough time. All right, time is playing in this tournament, but right now, Classic is going for a lot of Glaive the Depths heading towards Shin. I don't know if Shin is really ready for this. The Roach Warren is just now going down. Oh no, Shin is going to be sorely missing those roaches. As the Adepts finish that Shade, I don't know if I love that Shade finishing as he's fighting the Queens instead of fighting drones, but he is going to get some Queen kills here. He might just not finish this Shade as he sees this Roach Warren is not done yet. He goes for the Shade finishing to start getting some drone kills. We're getting a couple so far, but that number will jump up very quickly as the Adepts continue getting into the bases. A few of them splitting off into the third and into the natural. The Lynx are going to kill the ones over at the third base. Oh, but they're going to target down some drones in the meantime. 13 drones going down already. This is very, very brutal for Shin. That being said, the Hydra Den and the Roach Warren are both done. So we could see some Hydras coming out now, but we're getting up to 24 drone kills. And the Adepts are still alive, still killing Lings as well. And that is just going to be GG. The Banjo-Kazooie winter level music, Freeze Easy Peak, was just too much for Shin. It might have been the Glaive Adepts also. Classic just... I think he just hid that. Like, Shin didn't realize what was coming. He didn't realize that that was the build. And by the time he realized it, it was way too late. His Roach Warren wasn't down. Very unfortunate game there for Shin, but really nicely played by Classic. Hitting him with the build he wasn't expecting. And now, Classic is going to be in a PvP up against Hero. Meanwhile, the bottom side of the bracket, Oliveira took down DRG, and Dark took down Nightmare. So we have a Dark Oliveira semifinals on the bottom side of the bracket, and a Classic Hero semifinals on the top side of the bracket. Did Classic have a third? That's a great question. Yeah, I think he was taking a third. Pretty sure he was taking a third before that. Banjo-Kazooie and Conker's Bad Fur Day, probably my favorite from N64. Both made by Rare. Maybe controversial opinion. Probably not. Rare might be the best developer of all time, and they like only made games for the N64. But they're so good. Like, how I wish we were still in that era of gaming. No, Rare was amazing. Certainly their N64 run was incomparable. It's rare to have so many good games for a console. And also, like, the only time that a Nintendo console, like, its best games were not made by Nintendo. Every other Nintendo console, the Nintendo games are the best games, or at least, like, make up the majority of the best games. And as much as I love Mario Party 1 and 2, you know, Mario Kart 64, Super Smash 64, all great games. But I feel like the Rare games kind of beat them out for the most part. Or at least, like, dead-on competition. If I gave you top 10, there'd be like 3 Nintendo games, and the other 7 would all be made by Rare. I just don't think that really happens, especially for, like, Nintendo. Usually their games are the hallmark of the like, the hallmark of each Nintendo system is always a Nintendo game, except for maybe the N64, where you could kind of give to Super Mario 64, but I feel like the Rare games are just stronger. I don't know. Sea of Thieves is from Rare? Is it really? Really? Like the same game dev, Rare, made Sea of Thieves? I thought they like got bought out and didn't really do anything for like years and years and years. Did they make Sea of Thieves? That's actually incredible if that's the same game dev studio. Because, I mean, I haven't played Sea of Thieves, but like that has such the same kind of feeling. It just seems like such a fun game. And so like, I don't know, like innocent fun. Kind of love that. You know what else I love? That's going to be a hot take. But I love StarCraft. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the Blue Protoss. Classic. Playing for Twisted Minds. His opponent in the upper left-hand corner for Dragon Kitesy Gaming. It's Hero. Here's a fun fact about the phrase, I love StarCraft. Back in the day, back in the long, long ago, when the song I Love College by, I want to say, Asher Roth. I don't know why that name's still in my brain. I need to forget information like that, but it's still in there. That song was very popular. So it was like 2010, 2011 kind of era. And I was playing StarCraft. I decided to write a parody song of I Love College that was called I Love StarCraft. And I wrote the first verse and the chorus and never finished the second verse. And I still have a piece of paper with all of that written down somewhere. Because I do not throw those things away. That notebook also has some other OG StarCraft bangers in it. Such as there was a Fun Day Monday where your goal was to nuke your opponent, and as you nuked your opponent, you would do like a Dr. Seuss quote or a Dr. Seuss-esque rhyme in the chat as you nuked them. And I wrote a handful of pretty bad Dr. Seuss themed nuke-related quotes. Even though I never actually did that Fun Day Monday challenge because I was terrible at the game in general, but also at nuking. So I think I tried it once and just like couldn't even get to ghosts and then gave up. JW, this Fun Day Monday is right up your alley, my friend. I've never seen anybody nuke as much as JW. Even Maru back when late game TVZ was just nuking the Zerg 800 times. I don't even think Maru hit that many nukes. God, good times. I have that notebook somewhere. I kind of want to look at it, but I also kind of don't. You know what I mean? I feel like the nostalgia of looking at that notebook would be too strong. I should also talk about this game a little bit, although it seems like it's going to be pretty chill. Hero deciding to go for a later expansion. Trying to get some Phoenixes out. Maybe want to keep the pressure onto his opponent. Or is maybe assuming there's a Stargate in main, which there is. And by assuming, I mean his probe's sitting next to it. So assuming makes an ass out of you and me. Hero knows that and is not assuming. He's going to scout. But so the Phoenixes coming out of here are going to be really nice here. Classic's going to get the Scout, and I feel like as Classic here, you don't actually want to build Phoenixes. If your opponent's been building them already, I feel like you just don't want to even try, but he's going for it, man. He's going to try to build his own Phoenixes and just kind of play defensively with them. The nice thing about building Phoenixes here for Hero is that the Oracle doesn't even try to come across, so you just don't get any damage done with the Oracle. Classic kind of just has to play defensively. Oh, and he's going for a quick second Stargate. Classic is doubling down on the Phoenix production. Hero is continuing to build Phoenixes, but he's got the Robo on the way. I think he's expecting Blink. And he just went in and scouted more Phoenixes being made for Classic. He has not scouted the Stargate, though. That is crucial. Because if Hero wants to keep going toe-to-toe with Phoenixes, he is going to need a second Stargate about 30 seconds ago. He could try to switch off from this, but the Robo is not really where you want to go. If you're going to switch off from Phoenixes, you kind of want to go into Blink and then eventually into Archons. Classic feeling pretty comfortable, though. He's going to go ahead and drop another base. Nice thing about Phoenix Wars is they can't really do anything against buildings. Oh, this is so cheeky, though. Cute little play here from Classic. Yeah, 2 more gates going down for Hero. It looks like Hero just wants to attack, I guess. I mean, he's got no third. He's just got a Robo and a couple more gates. The double Phoenix production from Classic puts Hero on a big clock. He is fully on a clock right now. Classic's just going to have way more than him. Finally, that Twilight Council going down. I don't know if Hero didn't realize he's up against the second Stargate and then eventually just saw how many Phoenixes there were and knew he must be, must be against a double Stargate. But he's got to get into some units that shoot up. Stasis Ward delaying this third base. By the time Hero takes it, Classics is over halfway done. Wow. Both players continuing to build Phoenixes. It is 9-12. Obviously, Hero's going to need ground units and static defense to help him in a Phoenix versus Phoenix fight. Classic knows that. He's going to try to dive in and kill some of these Stalkers. The shield battery a little too far away to help them. Down goes 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh. Where are the Phoenixes? The Phoenixes are counterattacking. Hero is like, oh, I can't fight this. I can't do it. And I think he's going to be able to force a recall. Classic should be able to get these Phoenixes back home. In the meantime, Hero's just going to try to kill what he can. So many probes going down on both sides. Oh, this is wild, man. The thing is, Classic is just going to have more lifts because he has more Phoenixes. It is 13-9. Oh, man, and the super shield battery, even to try to keep that Phoenix alive. Hero's going to pull back now. I mean, it's the same worker count for both players. More Stalkers warping in here trying to fight against some of these Phoenixes. I think this is just a GG here from Hero. I think Classic just wins. Like, there's almost no way for Hero to come back in this game. He's not even going to kill the Immortal. He finally does. But he loses a Phoenix for it. Sorry, I like to chase those floating body parts. Classic finally out of juice here. He's got to wait for some more energy to lift the rest of these probes. Is Hero down to 4? No, he still has 8. Trying to chase some Phoenixes, but has to be careful not to chase too far. Classic has brought his Stalkers across the map to kill some of the ground units. Oh no, Hero chased too far. He loses those 4 Phoenixes. But honestly, at this point, it doesn't really matter. Hero's got a Depths in here. Trying to kill some probes. Classic is going to go for the recall and get his Phoenixes back home. He's going to kill the warp prison that's here. I mean, all right. Classic is up over double the army supply of Hero. But he is down workers. Now Classic is back on his side of the map. Can Hero defend, though? I feel like the answer is no. He's going to kill these Stalkers, but he knows the Phoenixes are on their way, and he's got to get out of here. He drops that Stalker to try to get back to his shield battery, but there's no shield battery. Oh, and there's just going to be too many Phoenixes, right? Like, the Phoenixes just dominate this fight. How many are there? 18. Oh, my God. 18 Phoenixes for Classic. That is unovercomable. Maybe if Hero had some Archons out, but you know what they say about wishes. Hero might wish he had Archons, but you wish in one hand, you play Protoss in the other, see which fills up faster. It was only a moderately funny joke if you already knew the actual saying. I mean, the game's over, right? Hero has one army supply. What does he think's gonna happen here? If he had a Templar Archives, maybe. Oh, the audio is weird. I'm so sorry, guys. Dang, I messed it up. Should fix it. Yeah, I don't know. If there were Archons, Hero could fight this out a little bit more. I have seen like a really weird Mass Phoenix versus like a handful of Archons game that the Archons ended up winning. Shout out to Spats versus Goblin from, I don't know, like a year and a half. No, it's got to be like two to 2.5 years ago. That game was so good. I think it was right at the start of 2022. That game was just incredible. But that's not what's happening here. Here is Hero trying to hold on with like 4 Stalkers and consistently not being able to do so. Shield battery overcharge is good. Immortals are better. Hero, please. Hero, please. Alright, he finally taps out. GG. Classic won that game like 8 minutes ago, but you know, sometimes it takes a little bit. You gotta let it sink in. No, sorry, what it was is I had some of the audio would have been doubled because I turned my desktop audio on so that we could listen to the Banjo-Kazooie song earlier. Then I forgot to turn it off. So the sounds would have been doubled, which really would only affect it if you, I don't know, had like good, probably headphones. Probably headphones you'd notice it. But for speakers, it probably wouldn't be that noticeable. It would have only been the loud in-game stuff that would have made a difference. I'm going to refill my drink real quick while we load into Hard Lead. Why would you ever turn off Banjo-Kazooie music? Great question, honestly. Great question. Don't have a good answer for you. Banjo-Kazooie music is always the way. All right. The way right now is getting to Hard Lead. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner, we have Twisted Minds Classic. And his opponent in the lower right. For Dragon Kitesy Gaming, it's Hero. Hero, I think, the favorite to not even just get to the finals, but at this point, he's got to be the favorite to win this tournament every single week. But he's down 0-1 here in the semifinals. And, you know, he's not infallible. Hero has lost in the semis before of a KSL. He's lost, I think, even in the quarterfinals. And he has lost a few of those finals. Although, by and large, he has won. When Hero plays, he has a very good record of winning KSLs. Both players expanding on the low ground this time. Hero last game went for the high ground expansion. It has been kind of funny to see the meta of Korean PvP shift a little bit. away from the 3-gate robo and into some more macro focused play. Last game was obviously 2-base to 2-base and then 3-base to 3-base, which is crazy. Once upon a time in Korea PvP, you just would never expect it, but it's kind of become much more standard now. I think as, you know, the Korean meta matched up against the European meta a little bit more, they started seeing macro players hold the 3-gate robo. You're like, all right. Maybe we can calm down a little bit. Maybe we can calm down. Thank you, BK Rack, in the chat for reminding me that we do have a match Reno for this week's event and every week's event. It has some codes on it. Would really appreciate it if you guys would claim those codes. Does not cost any money, but just adds 25 cents to the prize pool. It just helps the players kind of recoup some of those costs from transferring money from Matcherino to PayPal to bank accounts and whatnot. So any of that little stuff really helps out. If you want to help out more, we do have a Patreon as well. It's a Patreon-funded event, community-funded, by the community, for the community, with the community. Trying to figure out other words to use there. I don't know. I'm out of words. Sorry, guys. I'll work on my vocab. I'll read the thesaurus before next cast. We have another Phoenix opener here out of Hero. It's kind of funny. This is the same as last game. Hero opens with the Phoenix. But Classic this time not doubling down with a second Stargate and pumping out Phoenixes. Instead going for the Twilight Council. Kind of the more expected response here. Oh, and Classic, though, he is going to lose everything that he attacks with. He might be able to get this Stalker out of here. The Oracle trying to go in the main at the same time, but good job from Hero splitting against that Stasis Ward and flying to catch this Oracle. I appreciate Light posting in my chat my own Twitch channel. It's really meaningful. Thank you, guys. Please click, please follow. I assume that means Dark versus Oliveira on the other side of the bracket is finished. Part of me kind of wants to grab those replays and cast that, because, man, that is always such a good series. Also, guys, go follow the Cranky Ducklings. I'll link that shortly, but right now we got to focus on some micro here. Observe this as the Stasis Trap does catch a couple of probes and the Stalker. Classic going to push these Phoenixes out of there. Blink is now on the way for Hero as well. So he built a few Phoenixes, but really it's just going to be Blink versus Blink in the next stage of this game. Oh, his Phoenix is trying to get some more damage done here before getting shoved away once again. Thank you, Professor Nuggy, for linking the Cranky Ducklings in chat. Now I'm going to use that to do that. Boom! Give him a cheeky little shout out there. They're waiting for this one to finish. They're casting the other side of the bracket today, so if you're interested in those games, check out their VOD, video on demand. Classic's going to try to blink into the base now, perhaps. Just poking at the pylon. Not going to commit to the blink in. Hero's blink is not quite done yet, so it's going to be a little harder for him to defend. But it looks like Classic's just trying to be annoying, put the pressure on while he takes his third. And wow, his third is about to finish. Realize how far along that was. Hero is now behind a full base as they're going for the exact same composition. And that's not really where you want to be. Granted, Hero's still up workers. Classic has not rebuilt all of those probes that he lost to the Phoenixes earlier. Blink is now done for Hero. I think he's going to blink on top of this and shove this backwards. Classic lifts up one Stalker, but Hero's like, hey, I got 3 Phoenixes actually. I'm just going to keep on lifting, and Hero is going to dominate this fight. I am shocked Classic stuck around so long. Oh my god, losing a bunch of Stalkers on the retreat as well. He warps him back at home, but look at the soup. The soup. It do not lie. And, yeah, we have to remember the immortal words of Todd. Years ago, he told us to look at the soup. And we will remember that. We will continue looking at the soup. And we will see, based on said soup, that we're going to a game 3. I don't really see a way for Classic to get out of this. He just doesn't have the army to fight this. Probe's coming off the line. But even with that, I think Hero's just going to have too much stuff. He's going to kill these probes. He's going to kill these stalkers. He's backing up to play it safe, but, I mean, he's got a warp prism here. He's got stalkers coming in close, coming in hot. And that should just be that. Classic's going to stay in the game as long as Hero stayed in the last game, maybe. Just make him really fight it out. Make him take him down to 0 army supply and make sure to start cleaning stuff up. But no, game 3. Game 3 is a coming. Make sure to get all our casters in there now that the other series is done. Good night, Senju. Officer Bagel says good night as well, with his cute little face. Adorable. I also love Officer Bagel. Can't really see it on the camera, but his little nose is twitching. I think he knows I'm talking about him. Adorable. All right, game 3 is going to be on Golden Aura. First time we've seen this map today. Always excited to change it up a little bit. Sometimes we get stuck on the same maps through all the best of 3s, but always glad when we get something different, even if it's still just a map we see pretty often. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner, we have Dragon Kitesy Gaming's Hero. His opponent in the upper left-hand corner for the Twisted Minds, it's Classic. I need to get an Officer Bagel emote. I've been saying that for a while, but I haven't really put a ton of thought into it. Gotta get one of those going. That's exactly what I'm thinking, Ragnarok Cat. I definitely need a cat in like a cat in a policeman's hat. Like for sure, that's got to be what it is. Do you think he should be holding an everything bagel in his little paw, or like between his little piddles, holding an everything bagel? Like I feel like that might be the way to go. Or is that just his name? His name is Everything Bagel. There's nothing to represent said bagel. That's just his name. But he is Officer. It's his title. So he's got the hat on. I think we can make this happen. Sending a message to a certain flying mammal after this. Class going for the Stargate, as you'd expect. What is Hero going to be going for? Hero, so far not showing any tech, going for the Sentry first. He's still going to go for the Stargate. All right, cool. Well, I thought there was going to be something cool here for Hero, and he just played with my heart and went for a Stargate anyways. I heard that, I don't know if this has happened yet. I heard that they were going to expand the amount of animated emotes that streamers can get on Twitch, which is very cool, and I would love to have more animated emotes. I don't know what they will be, but I feel like I can make some animated emotes happen. This is really annoying for Classic. This Adept getting in and just getting some damage done. It's not going to get like a ton of damage, 2 probes, but it's forcing Classic to focus back at home. Doesn't get the third one. Good micro from Classic. But also kind of gets in, gets the full scout to see everything that's going on. The hallucinated Phoenix here going to be looking for the Oracle, while the real Phoenix is back at home to defend. The Haluk finds it. Did it see it? Waiting up here. Classic is biding his time. He knows that it was Orc or Sentry first, so he might not be thinking that that's a fake Phoenix. I'm not sure. Phoenixes are going to try to deal with the 2 Adepts that got right in. The Oracle decides not to show up. The double Oracle, in fact, from Classic. As those 2 Adepts get 2 probe kills, not a ton of damage. It is a best of 3. Sorry, I forgot to fix the overlay. Classic deciding, hey, I'm against Phoenixes again. I'm just going to expand. Honestly, it's a great choice. You're against Phoenixes, just expand. They can't actually do anything about building, so you just put down the building. Easy peasy. But Classic waiting till the perfect opportunity when those Phoenixes are across the map to come in with the double Oracle. They really only have 1 shot at this, but oh my god, what a shot. He is going to get 11 kills. One of the Oracles goes down, the other one just gets recalled out of there. Force the recall on the Phoenixes too. Beautifully done by Classic, and he takes a commanding economic lead with the 3rd base nearly done. Up 13 probes now. And Hero is now in a spot where he kind of needs to go all in. He needs to get damage done. He's stuck on 2 bases, but he's going to drop the proxy gate, and he is going to go for it. He's going to go for the big ol' attack. And I mean, he's really only got 1 shot to take this game, and it's if he can do enough damage here, but it is a good shot. He's ahead in Army Supply. He's got those Phoenixes that, as we saw, I think it was last game, right? Can be really useful. Even just 3 Phoenixes can be really useful in a Stalker versus Stalker fight, lifting up those Stalkers so they can't blink away, and Classic can't be as cost efficient as he'd like to be. But is Hero going to have enough? Stasis Trap building back at home. It looks like the Phoenixes will go home to get the kill on the Oracle. But now Classic just needs to defend. It's a little easier said than done, though, as Hero wants to attack right now. Blink's about to finish for both players. Hero, ooh, I love the fake Stalkers he's got in this army. Can Classic hold on? The Stalkers are here. Hero gonna blink on top of them and start lifting up some of those Phoenixes. Probes coming off the line as well to draw fire. Hero is targeting down Stalkers, though. He is not letting those probes draw his fire. Phoenix is getting gunned down as they try to leave. The Super Shield Battery will help hold on, but Hero is now at nearly double the army supply of Classic. Gonna blink on top of him again. Great blinks there from Classic. He can dodge those Stalker shots if they all shoot at the same Stalker, but he can't do it every single time. He's gonna run out of blinks. I just don't think he's got enough here to make this happen. it looks like Hero will once again make it to a KSL Finals. I don't see a way for Classic out of this. The army supply for Hero keeps going up, and Classics keeps going down. The probes are doing their best to draw fire. It's the only advantage Classic has is those probes, but if they're not mining, it's not much of an advantage. The Immortal going to do its best here. Some Zealots warping in as well to try to punish these Stalkers for running around so much. But those are slow Zealots. My guy Charge is just not quite done yet. And Hero's going to have too much. There's just, I don't see any way for Classic to hold on here long enough. He's going to keep trying. He's going to really fight it out and make sure Hero has to work for it. Charge is about to finish. Are there enough Zealots left to make it worth it, though? A couple more warp in. If Classic can hold on, he's in a great spot. Super Shield Battery turns on. I mean, he's kind of doing it. The army supply of Hero is down to 32. Classic's up to 25. Classic, he gets another Immortal out. He did lose all of his probes to do that, but again, he's on 3 bases to 2. Oh, the Immortal gets jumped on the Zealots. Where are the Zealots going? Oh, man, it seemed like maybe Classic had a shot there. I was trying to believe, guys. He's going to shut down the one gateway, but I feel like those Zealots just needed to be here fighting. Oh, no, the Immortal gets canceled. Gateway gets shut down. And Hero's going to blink up the ramp. Oh, can he shut down this pylon? That'd be huge. Zealots come in. Stalker's just going to blink away. Be as cost efficient as possible. I think Hero should be able to get the kill on this base if he goes for it. Super Shield Battery turns on, but the pylon gets killed. Hero's got to be careful, but it's getting dicier and dicier for Classic here, man. That army supply is still not looking great. I want to believe, guys. I want to hype it up for Classic. Can he hold on? His Robo is powered again. The Stalkers are coming down. They're blinking their best blinks. Classic is fighting this out like it's the GSL Finals. He's not letting go. But Hero, he's not stopping. He's got a 3rd base coming up behind this too. So even if he has to macro off the back of this, he'll be in a great spot. And there is the GG. As Classic taps out, Hero does indeed make his way to another KSL Finals. Too good, man. He's too good.
He's a man, but he's also a chicken.
Psych! Psych StarCraft. Thank you so much for the gifted sub. Your first gift sub in the channel. And it goes to Sertle. Thank you so much, Psych. I appreciate that. Paying forward the gift sub from Flip It Flapjack. You'll love to see it. Oh, man. And kind words. Thank you. Thank you so much. I do appreciate the support for the channel. Keeping the lights on here. Helping to make it worth it to spend an inordinate amount of time running events every week. Ooh, damn. And it seems like Oliveira took the win over Dark. Definitely casting that match after this. I've asked Light for the replays. Oh, we getting there. We getting in there. Realize I haven't done a prediction this whole time, so if you guys want to predict on who's going to win. Oliveira keeping us from another Dark Hero Finals, so poggers. All right. Best of 5 TVP to close us out. Nice. Hopefully Oliveira can do what I have seen a lot of Protoss struggle, or a lot of Terran struggle with lately, and defeat the Protoss. Yeah. Got to fill in these scores real quick before we continue on. Okay. Scores are updated and we are ready to go. I see you guys voting. Oliveira getting the big votes right now, getting the big predicts. We're going to hop in to game 1. What happened to the old point rewards? How am I going to get you in that chicken suit now? I have unfortunately disabled the Chickenman suit, at least for the time being. Honestly, the helmet's in a bit of disrepair. Really uncomfortable to wear at the moment, and I do not actually fit into the whole suit anymore. Also, it's just really tough when running a tournament to do that kind of stuff, and I don't feel like I stream enough where it's really worth it to have him on there. I usually just have to say no when people redeem it, and I hate having to do that. So, took it off for now. If I get back to more regular streaming, it'll come back. It'll come back. It's just on hold. Also, I'm always thinking of new ways to make a better Chickenman suit. So, you know, one day. One day, I believe. In the meantime, we'll just have to make do with some excellent StarCraft casted by my normal self instead of my superhero self. We're here in the grand finals of yet another KSL. But this time, we have a Terran in the finals. And that's a little rare for us, I feel like. It's usually just Dark and Hero. But in the upper left-hand corner of Equilibrium, we have the world champion, the current Katowice champion, reigning. It is Oliveira. And his opponent in the upper right-hand corner, this one a little bit more expected. He has won 15 KSLs, looking to secure a 16th. It is Hero. Little Dragon Kites gaming action here once again. Even when it's not Dark versus Hero in the finals, we still just have all these Dragon Kites gamers in here. They're just so good. It's just such a good team. It's not too surprising. Now, I am hopeful that Oliveira can do some good work here. I lately have seen... it feels like a lot of the Korean Terrans have really been struggling with Protoss. And just kind of across the board. It's a bit unfortunate. I don't know exactly what's been going on. It kind of reminds me of TVP from like... I don't know, what is it? Maybe 2-3 years ago, where every Terran was just 2-base all-inning the Protoss, and it felt like that's all they could do. But that's not... honestly, it really hasn't been working. Every time I see a 2-base all-in, the Protoss has just been holding it. At least the very high-level ones like Hero, Max Pax, Classic. It's been kind of a struggle for the Terrans to take series off of them in a lot of cases. So I'm hoping Oliveira can give us something spicy here. Oliveira does have a bit of a difficult play style for a lot of players to play against, and I think that gives him a big edge. It's not even really like a play style. It's just like he does things that players aren't expecting. It kind of feels like he doesn't have like a super solid build order. It's about the vibe of the build. And then like sometimes it gets absolutely shut down, and sometimes it completely destroys his opponent. It's just kind of a coin toss, and I think Oliveira likes it that way because it works out in his favor decently often. The Hellion and the 2 Hellions and the Reaper are really not going to get anything done here, obviously. Not finishing off any of those probes. Does scout that it's a robo opening, though. I don't know if he saw this Immortal, because this Immortal's kind of interesting. I'm surprised Hero opened with an Immortal first. He scans, I think, to see if there was an Observer here, and yeah, it looks like there was an Observer there. So I guess it was Observer first, then Immortal, then a second and third Observer. Wow. Hero really wants to observe things in this game. Oliveira trying to go for a Widowmine drop, but so far not having any luck. Great defense from Hero. Keeping an eye on this medevac as it boosts away even. And Hero wants to go for a little bit of a push here. He's got the Immortal, a handful of ground units. I think he wants to just poke the front, see what he can see. Twilight Council and a Forge on the way behind it. Ooh, there's medevac. Trying to get in. It's trying. Only one Widowmine burrows. I don't think it's really going to hit anything. I feel like there's an Observer nearby. So great defense from Hero. Really not taking any damage at the early part of this game. He's just lost the 1 Observer on the other side of the map. But he's killed a medevac, 2 Hellions, a Reaper, both of those mines. I mean, these trades are pretty fantastic at the start of the game. Does look like Oliveira is going to have a pretty nice push in the next couple of minutes, but we see that charge and +1 armor for Hero as he takes his 3rd base. So Hero's going to be heading into a heavy gateway style straight into the Templar Archives for Storm. This has been somewhat effective for the Korean Protosses. I feel like it's come back a little bit. Zest used to play in this style, and yeah, I noticed Classic starting to pull it out a little bit. Hero here going for it. Just a heavy gateway into pretty quick Storm as the response to the Terran. And I think at the very high level, Storm, Few Templar, and a War Prism is just so good that it makes sense to get a quick Storm and then go into Colossi afterwards, right? Can use those Storms. EMP is not going to be out for a while for Oliveira. Does not have a quick 3rd CC. Hero's going to try to poke the front. I don't know if he's going to be able to get too much done here. He's going to drop that Immortal and target down the tanks. He will get one. He's going to pop the bunker as well. Hero doing a lot better with this than I had expected him to, but the Prism goes down. Everything dies except the Stalkers. They're going to back up. 4 SCVs dying there. Was that a good trade for Hero? No, actually, that was a pretty bad trade for him. He was way ahead in these trades earlier. But I think just losing the Prism there, it meant he had no micro potential to get that Immortal out of dodge. Now Hero's going to pull back, tail between legs, and saturate up his 3rd base. But Oliveira takes a 20 army supply lead. So just defends. I mean, honestly, on Oliveira's side, there really wasn't anything special there. He just had his defenses set up. Hero attacked into it. Didn't go super well for Hero. I love that Oliveira scans this base to see if he's got the gold. Does he know about the other one? He doesn't even know about the other one. He just scanned this one to see if it was there. Wants to do some auto turret harass, but again, great defense from Hero, not letting any probes go down in this game. This is indeed the grand finals. For once, it is not Dark versus Hero. Oliveira took down Dark. I'm actually going to cast that after this, just because I want to cast that series, because it's got to be a banger. Some Zealots going to run by here. No new bunker. Oliveira going to have to use those reinforcements to clear this up. He does have a big push on the other side of the map that I believe Hero knows about. Going to scan forward. There's a couple high... Oh, there's so many High Templar around. Oh, my God. The storms. The weather is bad. The Widow Mines are friendly firing. The Prism is going to stay alive. Oliveira is going to get pushed right on back. I mean, those opening storms were just brutal. And in the meantime, the, like, 4 Zealots that ran in killed 15 SCVs. Oliveira losing a lot there, taking a very bad fight. And now Hero's just going to push straight across the map. I mean, he's got Storm. He's got a bunch of gateway units. He wants to keep Oliveira on his 2 bases at least and push in if he can. I don't know if he's going to be able to bust through. There's 2 Liberators here. There are a few Widow Mines. But he's going to go for it. Why not? Drop the storms all over the place here. The weather is, again, very bad as Hero busts it, and Oliveira just taps out. Doesn't even let the battle finish up. Hero takes game number 1. Despite, I would say, his first attack going pretty poorly. Oliveira definitely taking a better trade there, and it was just that Hero had preempted the follow-up. If his attack went poorly, Oliveira was just going to counterpush. But that attack wasn't all that Hero had. He had that storm behind it. He had like 4 or 5 High Templar around, a couple of them in the Prism. And the moment Oliveira was right by his natural, he just hit him. Nailed him with the storms. As we get into game 2 here, I will remind you guys there is a Matcherino for this very tournament. If you guys would like to add some free money to the prize pool, just a cheeky 25 cents. Maybe a little extra if you do some of those little sponsor quests. Or if you just love these players, if you're like, Oliveira deserves more money, and you want Oliveira to earn more money, you can just put money in the Matcherino, and then Oliveira will get a pretty high percentage of it for being in the finals. Or another fun thing you could do is support the Patreon. And then not only will you be supporting all the players who play, well, and get to the top 8 into the prize pool, but you'll also get all the replays, or at least most of the replays from every week, just as part of it. You just get all these high-level replays for as low as $5 a month. Insane value. The links for that are either in the chat or below if you're watching on YouTube later on. Now let's focus on game 2 here. We're on Solaris. Spawning in the upper right-hand corner, we have Oliveira, current reigning Katowice champion. His opponent in the lower left is, of course, Hero. I can be a hero, baby. I can kiss away the pain. And I will kill all the Terrans. You can't take my probes away. That's what we really need, is a rendition of the song Hero. What about Dragon Kite's a hero? Dave has left the game and raided my channel. Well, thank you, Dave, for the raid. Dave, I don't know why you left the game. He left the game, and you know what? Now everybody listening to this has lost the game. Sucks to be you guys. Couldn't be me. Oh, I'm sorry you're having internet issues, dude. That sucks. That's the worst. We don't like that. We don't like internet issues. We're big sad when it comes to internet issues. I've been considering changing my internet. I think there's another internet service provider in my area that like has pretty solid internet, but I gotta give them a call.
Oh
Also,
man, Chickenman. Wow.
My internet's been like really good. I mean, it's not like the best internet. It's just been solid. And I haven't had any issues with the internet in this apartment. Pretty much at all. So I kind of don't want to change it because like it's been good. So even if I could save some money, like maybe it's worth it just to let it be. Dave, not only rating, but also resubscribing for 28 months. Damn, Dave truly is the hero. Speaking of hero, trying to be kind of annoying with these units. Gets a Marine, but sees that something's building from the factory, and, well, that thing is a Cyclone, so he's got to get these guys out of there. You're going to have to pull on back home. Another Robo opening here for Hero. This is a 3-gate Robo, and he's just going to get aggressive with the first handful of units. He's going to try to be kind of annoying. Oliveira actually wants to put pressure on too. Oh my god. Woo. Both players getting spicy with it. Now Hero's not going to have any upgrades. These are not Blink Stalkers, so that's going to make it a lot harder to kill things like a Medevac or jump on top of the Cyclones. And Oliveira's going to push across out. These guys are going to meet. Not quite mid-map. Oh, but Hero gets the jump on this. He knows these Cyclones are coming. He's going to spot this Medevac, and he is going to chase it. I think this is better for Hero because he's going to be able to get here and start warping in some units. Oliveira's trying to get a siege tank out, but Hero is already here. The lock-on's hitting that one adept. Cyclone's trying to push this away. Marines running forward. SCVs body blocking. The Prism Micro from Hero is just insane. He is not going to lose these Stalkers easily. Oliveira knows that he's going to pull back, pull some more SCVs, and just try to get some kills, at least get some damage done on these guys. But as the Zealots warp in, ooh, the siege tank blasting the Stalkers. And it looks like the Zealots and Stalkers will all go down. This tank is MVP. 6 kills. I think those are all Stalkers. Of the 7 Stalkers that died, I'm pretty sure this tank just killed 6 of them. That is 100% of the reason why Oliveira just held that. And Hero's going to keep trying to be annoying. Warps in a few more Stalkers. These will one-shot SCVs. Obviously, some SCVs already went down. But Hero doesn't exactly have a great saturation at his base, right? He doesn't really have a ton going on back at home as Twilight just started. I think Oliveira's got to be okay with this. This is not okay, though. This is not okay. This is 8 SCVs going down. The Marines die. Hero goes for the recall, realizing that the reason Oliveira can't defend this is because he has everything back at home. There's even a Banshee here, but the tanks have shown up. The Cyclones both go down. Hero gonna pull the probes against this. Can the tanks do it one more time? This tank up to 7 kills. It finally goes down. The Marines stutter stepping backwards. The pros will get the full surround. A lot of workers going down on both sides of the field. But Oliveira is going to end up with a few units left over. It looks like the Stalker reinforcements will be able to clean this up. In fact, these Banshees need to be careful. I think one's going to fall. Ooh, he's trying to bait him into the tank. He's trying to bait him into the tank. Very successful. Hero's got to back up. I think I just heard the KSL alert. Thank you to whoever decided to support the KSL on Patreon. Really appreciate that. The Immortal is here. The Prism can still do some fancy micro. So can Oliveira, but he misses the pickup with the Medevac. Trying to be fancy there, waited a little too long. The Immortal gets the kill and stays alive. And now Hero's on the counterattack. This is a crazy aggressive game. Oliveira has another tank to fall back to. These tanks have been so crucial. He's trying to get into Stim and more Marines. Hero's going to shade these Adepts through. I think he is going to finish that shade. Oliveira unsieges so the tank doesn't friendly fire on the Marines. The tank gets picked up to the high ground. Ooh, the bunker finishes, but it dies immediately. I think Hero might just have too much here. Stalker's up on the high ground. And that's just gotta be it. Hero has way too many units. I think the Immortal died, but that is a small consolation for Oliveira. Both players on just the worst number of workers you could hope for. 17 to 23. But Hero's got the position on the low ground. There's another tank on the way. This one is still alive, but it's not enough on its own. And just not enough supporting units there. Hero will push through in that highly aggressive match. God damn. Those players just no chill. The most zero amount of chill. The thing is, both players were really committed to attacking, right? Like there's I don't know. You just have to commit to some sort of attack. You have to get some sort of damage done. The tech was so delayed for Hero, and Oliveira, he just didn't have the kind of production that he really needed. He was trying to get tanks out, but the Marine count was always so low. It puts you in such a weird position when you have such like a crucial timing you need to hit. Now we're going to get into game 3. Hero is on match point. He is one game away from 3-0ing in this finals, which doesn't feel appropriate. I want Oliveira to pull this back. But again, that TVP has just been really a struggle, it feels like, for a lot of the top Terrans right now. All right, let's hop in here. We're on Oceanborn. Spawning in the upper left. It is Oliveira. Needs to win 3 in a row to take this KSL. But his opponent on match point, ready to take his 16th win. It is none other than Hero. Oliveira going with the proxy racks. You know, you'll love to see it. Love to see it. You're up against the ropes. Your opponent's on match point. What do you open with? Proxy racks. And Hero up 2-0. Just needs to win one more game. Immediately proxies. I mean. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So this is the first gate at home for Hero, and then the second gate is proxied. So this is going to be a good amount of pressure coming out of Hero. Oliveira only proxying the 1 racks. If this was proxy 2 racks Reaper, I would like this for Oliveira, I think, because of the production on the map for Hero and the no scout from Hero. But Oliveira is expecting this to be a normal expand build. And he just scouted no Nexus. He was going to put a bunker down here next to the Nexus. And then he scouted it wasn't there. And that's not what you're looking for as the Terran right now. You really don't want
Chickenman
to see no Nexus. You know what you really do want to see, though? Is a 66-month resubscription from Diesel. Max power. The most maximum of power is when you're Diesel. Diesel, thank you so much for the resub. The constant support over the last However many years is that? I mean, that's 6.5, but it's actually even more than that. We're closing in on 7, which is kind of insane. And Hero already putting some pressure on here, getting a couple of SCV kills, just trying to poke through this supply depot. Cyclone is on the way out to try to help against this. Quick Cyclone will be quite good. But, I mean, already 3 SCVs going down before the Cyclone pops out. The Adepts don't want to stick around too long. Hero does have that Nexus coming up back at home. And I mean, he does have a proxy gate out on the map that could be quite vulnerable. I don't think Oliveira scouted it with that Rax. Oh no, he did. Maybe with the Reaper. Okay, so he knows now where that proxy gate is. So if Oliveira is able to hold on and eventually push out with a couple of Cyclones, he could just go take that out. That's a lot of investment there for Hero into something that probably won't help him too much. But as I say that, this is the same, very similar opening to last game, I guess. It's a 2-gate Robo. So he could just put a decent amount of pressure on. Yeah, Oliver wants to go kill this. He's got to be careful, though. 3 Adepts are coming up. They want to be annoying here. They really do. I just realized I can't do math. 66 months is 5.5 years. This is why you don't do math on stream, kids. Behind this, Oliveira's got a 3 rack. This is all in one base, by the way. Oliveira's on 3 racks production, and he is just going to go completely all in and try to just get as many units up as possible. Combat Shields is on the way. I assume Stim will be up shortly. The Adepts shade in and get 3 SEV kills. Now, guys, 3 SEV kills might not seem like a lot, but when you're on 23 workers, that's pretty significant. That being said, Oliveira is still on full saturation. He actually doesn't need to build any workers to replace those. I think he's kind of okay with that, right? He just killed 3 Adepts for essentially workers he doesn't need. And he's not going to rebuild. I think Oliveira is totally fine with that trade because right now, Hero needs every unit he can possibly get. I don't know if... I mean, I guess going for the Robo Bay is not the worst decision in the world. Well, I love this from Oliveira, though. Try to get some probe kills. Needs to not lose these Cyclones. Gets a few probes. Gets out of there. If he can get these home and repair them before he moves across. Oh, Stim feels so late. I don't know if Hero... I mean, I know he knows there's no natural. But, like, does he really know? He knows there's no natural, but does he know he knows? Does his nose know he knows? Can he smell it? That's what I'm trying to say. Can he smell what Oliveira's cooking? Because if Hero doesn't realize what he's up against, he's going to feel kind of like a jabroni in a minute. I think he does, because this Prism, I thought it was going across the map. I think he's just trying to pick off like a tank on the backside or maybe grab a Cyclone if it's here. But he's not going to be able to without it being super dangerous. The Vikings here actually make this really tough. He gets a Colossus out. It's going to be a short-range Colossus, but it's going to do a lot of damage to these Marines in the meantime. Already 8 Marine kills. The 2 tanks in the back doing their best, but Oliveira's just not going to have enough. Hero getting up the perfect amount of defense. Recognized exactly what he was up against. He smelled what Oliveira was cooking. And when Oliveira dropped the people's elbow, Hero just, he caught him. Caught him in the chokehold. He like, bam. Bammed him. Took him down. We're using wrestling analogies because Home Story Cup put it in my brain. And Hero wins his 16th KSL. That one, a 3-0 against Oliveira. I would say a very surprising result. I would not expect a 3-0 there. But it turns out Hero is pretty damn good. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Another KSL in the bag. Please consider giving the Twitch channel a follow. Subscribing to the YouTube if you want to watch these things not quite live. And tuning in another time. Much love to you guys. Hope you can go deep in Atlanta. I do too. I'm really stoked for Atlanta. I hope you guys are going. Last year was super fun. And I think this year will be fantastic. You subscribed to the Patreon? Psych. Was that you that did that earlier? Absolute boss. Thank you so much. These are 400 USD tourneys. That's right. That's right. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to keep up one a week. So far we've just been cutting every few weeks, and we're not going to do one while Atlanta's running because every single person involved in putting this tournament on is going to be in Atlanta. So not really going to be able to run one that week anyways. But we're going to have to take weeks off, and honestly, this will probably become a bi-weekly. Is that the right word? Bi-weekly event every other week. If we fall too low in the Patreon. But we'll just keep it going as much as we can. How much for the viewers? You guys, I know it's crazy. You guys get all this content for free, Matt. I know you would think you'd have to pay for this. Like, this feels like a pay-per-view kind of event. But it's actually free. Isn't bi-weekly one of those things? Yeah, okay, Banglory. That's what I was like, doesn't it mean twice a week, but also it means every other week? Because English was just like, meh, just use it again. Just use the same thing. Is that because we need more Patreons? We would indeed, Psych. We would indeed. For a long time, we had a surplus, and we used that to run the SummerSlam this summer. And then after that, unfortunately, our surplus became whatever the opposite of that is. So we've started to having to take weeks off, and we'll just keep it going as much as we can. If one day it turns into a once-a-month tournament, then that's what it'll be. In the meantime, we do still have enough Patreon support to do, I think right now, like 3 weeks a month, we should be good for. In the meantime, I'm actually going to cast one of the matches from tonight. Obviously, if you just watch that one, you'll know who won. But, I mean, at the end of the day, doesn't matter. We're going to cast Oliver vs. Dark because they're bangers. Guaranteed bangers. Twice sexual or once every other sexual. Whatever you want it to be, Macrocosm. I appreciate it, Matt. I know not everybody can support. Totally reasonable. I appreciate everybody who can, and I want to put this content on for everybody as long as we can do it. Yeah. Even just watching people cast it, whether it's my channel or Dave or the Cranky Ducklings or Steadfast, whoever, that's great support as well. Watching the videos that like Winter and Loco often post videos from KSL. I know Pig covers them a lot on his channel. Watching that kind of content too, that helps it reach a broader audience. A lot of our Patreons, I'm sure, only know the KSL through those guys. So like that kind of stuff is huge as well. But even just you guys like hanging out, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Not gonna lie. I'm gonna try. to send some replays to light real quick, and then we're going to cast Oliveira versus Dark. So if you want to watch that TVZ, stick around. If you're like, never mind, I know who wins, you know, feel free to not stick around. It's all good. Or if you're like, I'm only here for Protoss, like some of you, see you in chat. I'll see you next time when Hero's crushing again, because he does this like every week. All right. Replays have been sent. Reminds me, I'm going to make the bracket command. Say spoilers in big letters, so that if people check the bracket, they will know that it will spoil the match we're about to watch. All right. God dang it. Keep clicking the wrong things. You guys ever click the wrong things? The reason I'm not good at StarCraft, and it's because I often click the wrong things. Leave the party. We're going to go ahead and cast some TVZ. Should be a good one. Should be a good one. These guys often give us bangers. And let's just hop right in. We're here on Equilibrium for game one of this best of three. Spawning in the upper right-hand corner, we have none other than Dragon Kitesy Gaming's Dark. One of the strongest Zergs, a former world champion, but he's up against the current world champion, the Normal Man. In the upper left-hand corner, his teammate, it is Oliveira. This is the semifinals of this week's KSL. We are casting this after the fact, but that's just because I know this match is gonna be so good. We've got to enjoy it. I want to enjoy it in the first person while it's still fresh. And we have the replays fresh after the tournament here. If you want these replays, reminder, you can become a Patreon supporter for these replays. And you can feel good about yourself. You can be like, oh, I did a good thing. You know, maybe you're trying to do something good for Christmas. Supporting Korean StarCraft is a great way to celebrate Christmas. Which reminds me, I really want to put on a Christmas-themed tournament. I was talking about it earlier today. I just love the idea of having like all the winter maps, playing Christmas music, and using the mod that adds little Santa hats to all the workers. I think that'd be so cute. Feels kind of like something Home Story Cup would do if they did like a Christmas special. I could see them doing a really good one. But I also want a Christmas map, like a special Christmas map. Call it the North Pole. Oh, you could have a Zelnaga tower, like dead center of the map. Like that's the North Pole. Have it like shaped like a giant candy cane. I don't think you can change the shape of those, so that wouldn't really work, but kind of makes sense. Maybe just a sign next to it that says North Pole. A South Pole map with penguins. I don't know about that. That sounds scary. Imagine how big penguins would be on this, like to scale. They would be so small. They'd be like the size of the mouse cursor. They'd be so little. You could have like thousands of them wandering around on the map in little droves. Oh my god, imagine the AoE splash on that. Terrible. Alright, let's talk about this game. This is what I'm casting it for. It'd be really funny if I was like, I really want to see this game, and then I just like don't talk about it the entire time. Oliveira going for a quick 3cc and getting into some Cyclones. He wants to just be annoying with these fun, annoying units. Dark gonna have to deal with that with his Lings and Queens. I don't see too many TVZs on this map. It's actually really interesting that these guys chose this map. Just in general, I feel like this one doesn't get chosen very often. And yet, here we are, Oliveira and Dark. I feel like Dark doesn't really shy away from maps like a lot of other players do. Oliveira might have a bit of special sauce for this map. But as I say that, the Cyclones are going to get caught. And one of them dies immediately, and another one gonna die immediately. All right. Well, Cyclones didn't really get the job done that Oliveira was hoping for. He is trying to get into more barracks. Wait, hold on. I really thought this was going to be more factories behind this. But it is not. It is more barracks. He was floating a barracks, which really makes it look like mech, especially with this Cyclone opener. And I think Oliveira is trying to trick Dark and make him think that he's going for like a mech build. But it is just decidedly not a mech build. The Lings, though, are going to get another Cyclone kill. They're trying to kill this one. The SCVs are helping defend it. But that means SCVs are going to die. Oh, the Cyclone. It lives just barely, but that's 5 SCVs going down, and Dark's Nidus is hitting. Lings are going to run across the map, but the Queens are going to hop into that worm. They're asking right now, these Queens are like, would you still love me if I was a worm? Oliveira says, no. No, I would not love you if you were a worm. And Dark takes game number 1. A very weird game on a map I don't see that matchup on very often. Extremely quick game. That is, I'll be really honest with you, not what I was expecting at all. The bracket does have spoilers right now. We are casting these moments after the end of the tournament with the replays sent to us by Light of the Cranky Ducklings. So make sure to go check out the Cranky Ducklings as well, who also cast this match. We're going to hop into game number 2 here. And, well, we'll hope it's not quite as quick as that one. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have Dragon Kites Gaming's Dark. And his opponent in the lower right, we have our Blue Terran Oliveira, also a Dragon Kites gamer. Oliveira, though, from the Kitesy side of that merger. An important distinction. I actually think he's the only Kitesy member left on the roster. I think everybody else on Dragon Kites Gaming was from the Dragon Phoenix Gaming half of the roster. Oliveira opening up with the double racks on the low ground. The good old Beyond classic build. Just realized I can't delete my own comment from chat. I should be able to delete my own comment from chat. Also, I just realized that I've been a Twitch affiliate, I guess. I was a Twitch affiliate before partner for 69 months, as I am subscribed to my own channel for 69 months. So that's pretty cool. My channel has had a sub button for the coolest amount of months. Shout out to that. We had Diesel resubbing earlier, who was a day 0 sub. Literally not only subbed on day 1, but actually donated $5 the day before I got my sub button, because I didn't have my sub button yet. Which is just the ultimate amount of support. And still going as well. Spartacus, thank you so much for the raid. I hope you had a lovely stream. Oliveira's Reapers are hitting. They're hitting the field. They are hitting dark. They're booping and bopping. I don't think they've really gotten too much damage so far. Just a single link. See how many Reapers he ends up building. He's going up to 4, it looks like. Oh no, that's 5. It's going to be 5 Reapers. So he should be able to force a cancel on this base. Dark, I don't think he's going to bother trying to save it. I think he recognizes that this is going to be a kill. And it's usually better just to get the cancel. Can he do it? Can he do it? Queens decide to come out. The Reapers say, actually, that's fine. We'll take the Queens. They will get 1 Queen kill. Ling Speed's only halfway done. That's another Queen kill. Oh, the Reaper Grenade misses the Lings. The Lings still have to run away. And now these 5 Reapers are poking at this hatch again. It's under 500 hit points. One of the Reapers goes down, though. Oh, my God, but another Reaper shows up. Oliveira keeping it up to 5 Reapers. This Queen is getting dangerously low. This opening is going so well for Oliveira as he kills more Lings. Ling Speed is so close. There are so many Zerglings. The Reaper's trying to get up onto the high ground, and they are successful. The Lings trying to chase, but they just can't catch up to him. So many Lings have died now. Ooh, can they get the kill? The Reaper is just jumping up, jumping down. It's going to be another dead Queen. I think the Reapers will finally go down here. But man, they have gotten insane damage. Take a look at the trades after the Reapers go down. Yeah, 993 to 600, but I mean, that doesn't tell the whole story. 4 Queens going down. 15 drones could have been, or 15 Lings, excuse me, could have been 8 larvae. Dark did not want to spend. Could have been 8 drones. Wow, none of those words came out in the right order. He did not want to spend the larva on Lings. And now these Lings counterattacking just aren't really going to get anything done. Not where Dark wants to be at this stage of the game. He's still okay. He's still droning up. His third base stayed alive, which is huge. But Oliveira, I mean, I feel like he's in a solid position after that. He's got a 3rd CC. He's got Hellions coming out. He's got Stim on the way. And he's building a lot of Mariners. That's an armory. I knew those Hellions weren't a mistake. Yeah, Oliveira's going to try to hit with a big attack here and get some Hellbats and Stim Marines going. He's just going to try to kill Dark while Dark is droning and trying to maybe get some tech going. I mean, right now he's just trying to hit full 3-base saturation, and I assume he'll start up a lair fairly soon, but he is on Ling Queen. I'll tell you guys, Ling Queen does not deal with Stim Marine Hellbat particularly well. And as more drones come out of Dark, he just doesn't realize this is here. He doesn't see it. And I'm thinking this might just be it. This is I mean, like once these Hellions morph into Hellbats, Dark's gonna be feeling real bad about this. That's a lot of Stim Marines. There's a medevac here for healing as well. That's a lot of Queens. But the Marines deal with the Queens, and Dark, he just taps out immediately with that W button. George W. Good game. And, well, game 1 was a quick one for Dark. Game 2, a quick one for Oliveira. And now game 3, hopefully not a quick one. I'm ready for a nice, long game 3. Like a long, hard, throbbing, just game 3. You know the kind of game 3 I'm talking about. The kind that just makes you Let's hope we get it. Spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Alcyone, we have Dragon Kitesy Gaming's Dark. His opponent in the upper right-hand corner is, of course, his teammate Oliveira, current champion, reigning world champion. Yes, if you look at the bracket, you will know who wins. That is why the bracket says spoilers, big letters before it. Because we're casting this after the tournament's over. I just wanted to see these games. I knew these games were going to be good. So far, they have not been what I expected, though. That's why I'm hoping this game a bit beefier. I don't usually expect one-sided matches between these two guys, but obviously, Dark does like his aggression. So game 1, not too much of a surprise. Oliveira just hitting a good timing in game 2 off the back of some big damage. And I mean, it's funny because I feel like I've seen that build, that kind of build before. And a lot of times it doesn't seem like it works. But the reason that worked so well for Oliveira is because of how much damage the Reapers got done, right? He killed all those Lings, killed all the Queens. And if Dark had decided to follow that up with like a few drones and then just like a big swell of roaches to try to attack, which, to be fair, is kind of a Dark thing to do, I think Oliveira would have been in trouble. But Oliveira got a little lucky there in that Dark picked strategy that would have just died to the Hellbat Marine follow-up. And that's the risks you have to take. So Dark took a risk in that game of droning up after having all that damage done to him, knowing there was a chance Oliveira would attack him and just kind of kill him. He could have flipped the coin the other way and taken a risk by going for a big attack. That's a big part of the strategy part of StarCraft. In some games, it's a little more relevant than others. Sometimes the players know exactly what their opponent is doing, and it's just about who can execute better. Those games are super fun, too. I feel like a Rainer Clam or something is like that, where maybe they're not doing anything crazy. They're just going to do the exact same builds every game. But it's just about who's executing better at any given moment. But StarCraft's a strategy game. Sometimes you can pick a strategy and your opponent picks a strategy and your strategy wins. And that's just it's like the end of the game. As long as you both execute to pretty much the same level, one strategy is going to beat the other one, and it can be frustrating, even at the highest levels, to deal with something like that. But it would not be an RTS if that wasn't part of it. It would just be real time. What if you had like an auto builder for units, but you had to micro all the units? You like auto built whatever army you wanted to build against each other, but then it was just like a micro battle with those units. So instead of strategy, it was just a micro wars. Taking the S out of RTS. This game, though, looking pretty standard. Oliveira opening up with the 3cc, Hellion Banshee, Just poking and prodding here. Dark's going for a, I don't want to call it a quick lair, but certainly not a late lair. We are 4 minutes into that game. The lair is almost done. No other tech here for Dark just yet, though. Kind of wondering if he's planning on doing some roaches or if he wants to get cheeky with like a spire. A lot of times if you see the no tech until the lair is done, it could be a spire, but there's no gases here, so. Oh, hold on. What did I see? Do you see what I see? A worm, a worm. Dark trying to make this a quick game 3. All right. Oliveira's on a lot of Hellions. Queens, pretty good against those. And I do not think Oliveira has any idea what's coming. He has not scouted that Nidus. I don't see Dark do like enough Niduses where I would expect this, honestly. It's kind of funny to see him throw this down. Of course, the Banshee's not going to be the best defenders against this either. I don't think. Yeah, no cloak or anything. It's just a single Banshee. Bunch of Lings coming out. Dark, he's a little supply block, so he's going to build a bunch of Overlords, but the Knight is going down in the corner of the main. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oliveira, no. He can't see it.
Our SCVs are under attack.
And he can't build there. The Ling's going to get in the front. Oh, my God. The door is open. Oh, no. The humanity. Oliveira's got Zerg all up in his base. I think there was a campaign mission that looked like this. So many queens in here. The Hellions do come back. The Banshee is here. But how do you deal with this many queens? The Lings aren't really that much of a problem. Is a tank going to pop out soon? I mean, granted, Oliveira's on 3 bases too, so he just kind of has to hold. Easier said than done. He's going to siege up this tank. That will help deal with the queens quite a bit. They really can't get to that tank. It's taken about 100 years. But the main base has to lift. Knight is trying to come up in the natural now for Dark, and he's really trying to push this. Queens and Lings popping out down there. The tank, though, continuing to shell away at these queens in the main base. Oh, the Banshee stays alive, just barely. The Lings get pushed away from the front of the wall. Only 5 SCVs have fallen. Oliveira is, I mean, he's holding. This is not pretty. There's a lot of creep in his base right now. And behind this, Dark is starting to drone up. His lair is done, of course. His Roach Horn is done, so he can start to tech up a little bit. Dark doesn't want to overstay his welcome. If Oliveira is going to hold, Dark wants to leave and keep these queens alive. Losing these queens would be very, very bad. But he's going to keep on fighting this right now. Stim is done for Oliveira. These queens need to get the hell out of here. Oh, I don't think any of them died on the way out, actually. The Nidus goes down. All the creep goes down. This is not as bad for Oliveira as I'd expected it to be. He has 1-1, a bunch of Stim Marines. Combat Shields is on the way. He's got more medevacs coming out. He still has tanks and Hellions alive. He lost some SCVs in that, but like overall, he really didn't lose much. A few Marines, the Banshee, a tank. And Dark did not drone up nearly as much as I had expected. He is only on 50 workers right now as he spends a few drones for these extractors, for a new base. He's using drones all over the place for buildings, which means all those drones he made right as the attack was finishing up, they're pretty much gone. That drone lead is pretty much gone. Oliveira is basically even on workers on even bases with the Zerg with a much better army. Now, Roaches are popping out. They don't have speed or 1-1, though. And Oliveira is here with siege tanks. I think Oliveira might be able to push through this. Maybe Dark can hold on. Some Lings and Roaches from the back. Oh, my God, actually, huge surround for Dark. There are 13 queens here. The problem is those do not deal with Stim Marines very well. While the tanks will go down, the Marines going to take a great trade in the meantime. And they're just going to keep pushing up here. All the Roaches are dead. The Marines just gunning these queens down. It was 13 queens. It's down to just 4. Make that 3 and make that 2, as I think we're close to seeing the 2 Gs as well. A few Roaches pop out. They push Oliveira away. Dark holds onto his 4th base. And in the meantime, he did get up to 63 drones. He's droning up a little bit more now. It's not a great position for Dark, but it's much closer to even than it was before that attack. I actually don't mind this position so much for Dark, as his 1-1 will probably finish before the next fight. If he can get his 1-1 finish, he's got his roach speed. His drone count is up to a decent amount now. I don't think this game's going to end in the next couple minutes. I think Dark can keep holding on. He's got an infestation pit on the way. He's got burrow and tunneling claws on the way. He's gathering his tools to be cost efficient against the Terran, and Oliveira, recognizing you can't just kill him, is just clearing up some creep spread. He's going to send out some drops, see if he can't get some damage done. And this game has entered a macro phase. I can't believe Oliveira held on with pretty much only Hellions against the Ling Queen Nidus. And then I can't believe Dark held on against the counterattack, which looked like it was straight up going to kill him. But some great play here on both sides, and this game continues. I still think Oliveira is in a much better spot. He's playing against Roach Ravager and TVZ, which is already kind of just nice for the Terran. Marine Tank scales better than Roach Ravager, generally speaking. And considering their supplies are increasing at the same rate, it's quite good for Oliveira. The big danger when you're up against a Roach-based player is that they can usually max out so much earlier than you that they can just keep your army supply low. And if the Roaches are overwhelming, well, they do a very good job. The problem here for Dark is that his Roaches are not going to be overwhelming. Oh. So he needs some other tools, and we see 5 Infestors on the way out. He's got Neural being created. He's getting those tools. Roach Burrow also really nice here. Dark is very good at spotting with some individual Roaches or individual Infestors. He can obviously also harass with those, be annoying, block command centers from landing. But now that Oliveira knows about them, he's probably going to have some turrets around. He's going to be keeping an eye out. Obviously, when it's not moving, it's not very obvious, but the moving Roach Burrow actually kind of easy to see. But Oliveira's just going for a push. Oh, there are some Infestors out. Can we get some big Fungals? That's a nice one. Some Biles going down, but there's still a lot of Marines here. A second Fungal is really good. Dark has to be careful not to lose these Infestors. They're so crucial in this defense, trying to come around for a flank Fungal. But the tanks are going to siege up and keep moving forward. Oliveira's feeling good about this. He's trying to pre-split his units so he dodges the Fungals. And Dark has not been able to get any good Fungals off since those first two. Ooh, a lot of Ravagers getting blasted here. Can he land another Fungal? That one doesn't really hit. The bio is pushing through. Oliveira taking the supply lead a little bit here, as it looks like he's going to gun down this 4th. And that's a big problem for Dark, but even worse, his attempted 5th base is right there, split off from his army. He has to cancel it immediately, and Oliveira knocks Dark back down to 3 bases, while his 4th is already a planetary. He picks up the tanks and the medevacs, and he just gets the hell out of Dodge. Oh man, even using these units to keep Dark back a little bit more, targeting down a drone, killing another extractor. I mean, these are little things, but when you're ahead, it's just, I mean, you just get more ahead, right? That's the strat there. And works out great for Oliveira. Dark is a little bit ahead in supply, but don't let that fool you. He is down a base, down drones, and he's on Roach Rav. The Infestors are the best thing here, but we've already seen Oliveira dealing with them so well. Those first 2 Fungals hit pretty nicely, but after that, Oliveira just wasn't letting them hit. He would run forward and pull back immediately as soon as he saw those Infestors come forward. The Infestors kind of slow. Fungal is not an instant cast. Once upon a time it was, and it was really good. But now it's not instant, so if the Terran is on it and splitting before you get that Fungal off, you're not going to hit it. So far, we haven't seen Dark be able to hit one that Oliveira is ready for. Now Oliveira with a double drop to the bottom side and the big push to the top side. Immediate cancel here. Oliveira has some ghosts with this as well. So he can get some cheeky snipes or EMPs off. That double drop going to force another cancel on this base, it looks like, as Dark is nowhere nearby. He's trying desperately to retake his 4th, to take the gold base, anything he can do, but Oliveira is making this so hard for him. Oops, some ghost out front here. Where are the infestors? They're nearby. Can they get a money fungal? Oh, some big snipes. One ghost dives forward. And it gets an okay fungal, but I don't know if that's enough. The scans, the constant scans from Oliveira, he's not letting these infestors get close at all. Goes for the EMP. There's another fungal here available. Can he get it? Is it even going to matter? It dies immediately. The EMPs land. I think there's only one fungal left. Oh, the infestors path towards the tank. Dark is losing everything over here. And in the meantime, it looks like he was losing stuff on this side too. Dark has a lot of units here that could be really helpful in this fight. Oliveira doesn't see that burrowed infestor that's keeping an eye on things. But Oliveira's up 20 supply right now. Dark is fighting for his life, trying to get 3-3 to finish up. But Oliveira's is done, and he is diving forward. Some blinding clouds, beautiful blinding clouds. Infestors pop up and go for some fungals. Is it enough, though? The roaches and hydras, I think they clear this. It's painful for Dark. Oof, those last couple of tank shots, very painful. And Oliveira ends up 30 supply ahead. Dark clears his side of the map, but at what cost? What did it cost him? Everything. He's got 3 hatcheries on the way, but I mean, he's mining from essentially 1.5 bases right now. That is not where you want to be when your opponent, I mean, Oliveira on his side of the map, he has been untouched since that Nidus got cleaned up earlier. He's on 5 bases, 80 SCVs. He's so chilling right now. And, I mean, he's got all the tools he needs. He's got lib range on the way. He's got more ghosts coming out. Widow mines even now. Just trying to gather it all together. Dark is on Roach Hydra, which is a solid composition, but it really needs that final piece of the puzzle. It needs those lurkers. The infestors and vipers are so important, and there were infestors, there were vipers. They all died. They got sniped. They got EMP'd. They got blasted by tanks. And Oliveira is he's so far ahead. He's so far ahead, and it's going to be so difficult for Dark to fight this army. Dark doesn't have the tools anymore. He doesn't have the tools. Oliveira's tools are better. And listen, as a kid, I watched Home Improvement. Okay, Tim the Toolman Taylor, he taught me about the tools. And I know my tools when I see them. And while there's no Protoss in this game, and as we know, the Protoss are always the tools, Oliveira's got some big tools. He's got a big tool. It's a lot of ghosts, and he is pushing this back right now. He's even got a Widow Mine drop coming in the bottom side while he pushes on the front. It's a nice fungal from Dark. There's a few more of those infestors come out. The ghost's just going to run away. He knows those are the most important thing here. But already some drones going down, some more trades happening. The Widow Mines come in. Honestly, great splits here from Dark, but still 13 drones going down at a time when Dark can't afford to lose a single drone. And Oliveira is still here. He's going to scan forward. He tries to stim the Marines forward, and it's literally just one. Oliveira does have to be a little bit careful. My God, he's killed 20 drones. This base, he's got nothing. I mean, Dark is running on fumes here. He's running on fumes, running on empty, Jackson Brown might have said. And I think we are close to Oliveira just taking this game and taking this series. I genuinely see no way back into this for Dark. He's down 20 supply, but it just doesn't feel like it tells the whole story. His drone count has been pretty abysmal this whole game. As we see Oliveira mining significantly more in the last few minutes. Oh, a nice ghost nav there. Goes for a friendly EMP, but he can't hit all the ghosts. They're too split. There are four liberators here, 3 liberators here. Siege tank. Oliveira needs a scan, but oh, the Viper's coming in. Going for some yoinks, some EMPs going off though. The Hydra's trying to break through. But that is gonna be that. As Oliveira holds the Nidus at the start of that game. Honestly, that was the most impressive part of that game. Dark holding the counterattack was also very impressive, but it felt like after that, Oliveira was step for step with Dark. And just, he had that composition that scales better, right? The Terran army scales more naturally than Roach Ravager does. And as we got into the late game, the Ghosts, the Tanks, the Liberators, you just can't deal with that nearly as well from the position Dark was in. GG. Skatu.
Oh man, Chickenman. Wow.
Skatu, thank you for the resubscription. Welcome back to the flock, my friend. Oh, puppy. Yeah, that's a kitty. That's a little kitten. It's kind of hard to tell when he's all bunched up like that. Look at those cute little piddles. Those are adorable. Just take a moment to appreciate those cute little piddles. Absolutely adorable. I wish that camera was a little bit better. What the cat do? He's sleeping. He's sleeping, and I'm going to head out. I'm not going to go to bed just yet. I have to gather the replays for everybody. Send those out to the Patreons. If you guys would like the replays from today's tournament and from all of the KSLs, please consider supporting the Patreon. And I will send you those replays every single week. Every single KSL, send those replays out. Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. Really appreciate it. I'm going to raid somebody up. And I will see you. I have to work Monday again, which is super annoying. It's like the one day a week that I was like, hey, can I really not work Mondays? My boss was like, yeah. Like 3 weeks in a row and I have to work Mondays. But I'll try to cast. Actually, I don't think I'm going to be able to cast ESL Korea this week. I'll try, but I am going to do some casting on Sunday. OSC is doing a big celebration event and fundraising for their championship series, for the end of the year championship they do in January. And they're going to do a 24-hour stream, so I'm going to be on for part of that stream on Sunday. So I hope to see you guys there. And then maybe, because that's supposed to end at midnight, APT Korea starts at 1. I'm not going to make any promises because I'll be working straight into casting, which means it would be like a hugely long day, and then I have to work the next day. So might not be able to, but if I can force myself to, I will cast EPT Korea afterwards, because I do love casting that. But in the meantime, I'm going to head out. Thank you guys for hanging out for KSL. Appreciate your love and support. Means the world to me. I will catch y'all next time. Stay cocky, my friends. Oh yeah, this is such a banger.